So I hope everyone's posting their progress on the relevant link in the post. Sorry. Let's look at the feedback. April Wang,
Yes, sir.
you've not updated your feedback, yeah?
Oh,
All these people here. Janan Ahmed, Lee Len Hoi. Who's this? Lim Xinyan, Caroline, Rachel, Caroline, all you guys, whoever is not before a right mark deducted over there, please make sure that your feedback is updated. Zheng Yu, Darren Lim, week 10. Okay, let's stop trying. So we effectively have one last week before submission on week 13. By this stage, most of you would have been complete, should have completed your fonts, and the next week should be spent clicking on the applications. So, I mean, that's ideal. That's the ideal situation. So without further ado, let's see what you've done. Who's going first? First to show, first to end their ordeal.
So are we sharing our screen?
Yes, you're sharing.
Oh, okay. I'll share first.
Okay. Excuse me.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can see the blog.
So this is
the
Illustrator.
I think it's sharing the browser window.
Oh. How about now?
Yep, I can see the work now.
All right. So this is my progress so far.
Okay. Well, it looks somewhat similar, yes. Ascenders or the X side is a little small on the lowercase letter forms, but other than that, seems fine. Seems fairly good. So what's this based on? Yeah.
The
What you're trying to do?
the initial font is from an album
Right.
promotional poster. Yeah,
Right.
this is the original.
Okay. All right. So I think you should start transferring your letter forms into FontLab, and remember that the FontLab, the full version is there in the lab as well. D704, the first two rows. So you can do it there, or if you have your own access to it, then you can do it where you're doing it. Other options would be FontForge if you want to use that particular software. There's a link to an article on FontForge, not link, but rather an article on FontForge on Creative Beats. If you search for it there, you should be able to find it as well. But in any case, I think whichever you're most comfortable with, right?
Right.
Okay, so what's your plan now?
I will finalize it because as you can see, some of them I still have like second option.
Yep.
And the X height, I will tweak it a bit.
Hmm.
And
I don't think you can do a lot with the X height now that you've completed so many letter forms, right? I mean, I suppose you could, but anyways, I'll leave it up to you as to what you think would be the best direction lah. Yeah. The what do you call it? The dollar sign, yeah. Seems a little on the thicker side. Wondering whether you wanna try to not have the middle strokes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
the middle section of the. Wait, don't move it. The middle section of it is not there. Just the top and bottom. Right. So that would suffice. Then it'll allow more counter space within the S.
Okay. I'll
Within
try
the-
that.
Yeah, you can try that. Just looking at the other letters. I think also maybe if you want to reduce some of the bumpiness in the bracket here, if you want to reduce it a little bit, by a little bit is also fine. Like, you know, it doesn't have to be so bumpy also.
Right.
Right, that middle section there can go away. A little bit more cavity space in the open and close quotes would help. These are just my pointers, lah. If you agree, you just go ahead and make
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
If you otherwise, because it's at the end of the day, you are more intimate with the font than I am, you see. So I can only point out some things that I feel that might work to your favor. Like the Z there, for example, I think that part's a bit too thick, that is, so you might want to reduce that a little bit more, whatever.
Okay.
Okay, thanks. That's yeah, right. As I was saying, what's the plan now?
Hopefully by next week everything is already done on FontLab.
Okay.
At least already halfway there, at least.
Okay. So the FontLab part won't take you that long. It's about like 1-2 days there. Huh? So I think at this stage, maybe you will need, see, like for example, today, if you do the tweaking, right? And once you reach a stage in the tweaking that you find that, yeah, okay, this is as good as it's going to get. And then you start transferring the letter forms into FontLab. And once you have transferred them into FontLab, it's just about kerning and letter spacing, correct? So that'll take you about a day. Yeah, the kerning and letter spacing part can be quite tricky. So initially you want to do the uppercase letters, then the lowercase letters, and the upper lowercase letters in combination, and that will take you a whole day, more or less lah. Yeah, trying to get the kerning as best kerned as you can, and once you've kind of done that, then it's then you have to start thinking about the applications lah. So when you take a break in between the kernings, you can just focus your attention on what you think you want to do, how you want to create this, what you want to create it, or how you want to apply it, and so on and so forth, right? So I think you should start collecting items that you think might be useful, as reference or directional reference, etc. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think you should just start thinking about that lah once you already begin the kerning application. Okay, thank you.
All right, thanks, sir.
Next person. Okay, Anna. So Anna, I think we remember we were talking about some, like, what do you call it?
Brushes.
Yeah, no, I mean like some minor imperfections in the letter forms, right? I mean like roughness in the letter forms.
Yeah, I actually made it thicker already.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm talking about like, because you were initially doing it like a pencilish kind of feel, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so if you can see that what I just did there,
Yeah.
right? So if you get that kind of like a little bit of roughness in the letter forms, right? It'll look less simplistic and more interesting.
Yeah. Basically for now I'm just like completing it first. After that,
Okay.
now I will like, apply the like kind of like roughness inside.
Okay, can you try one out today itself? And let me have a look at it. Yeah, one of those take one of the letters and try it out. Also, if you're gonna add a gap, right, you need to make sure that the gap is consistent,
Okay.
right? So because the gaps here are too close, you might as well just close it, like for the W example.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you're gonna give gaps, then you must make sure that those gaps are consistent. So if you want to give gaps, you got to make sure that they are bigger. Yeah, the gaps are consistent in look and feel. Right?
Okay.
So because right now you have gaps that are wider and then gaps that are smaller. I mean, different types of gaps. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
So,
if like for example, if the R gap is bigger, right, it's a bit weird lah. Like
yeah.
it
So
doesn't
you,
really.
you have to find a sweet spot lah. Yeah. So
Okay.
so you have three different sizes right now. You got this size. Sorry. Wait. You have this size. You have this size. You have this. You have this. Yeah. And you have this. So choose one, right? I mean, choose one that is in between.
Okay.
I think you can take off some of that R there. Anyways, so decide lah, yeah, one of the thingy, and then eventually show me what you have there.
Okay.
Excuse me. The S looks a little less wide, yeah. It should be wider actually.
Yeah, I'm still trying to see how to make it a bit similar, like the whiteness of it.
So right now, what you've done is basically you just add two circles lah, right? Yeah. So essentially, what you do is you add like 4 circles. So then it'll move across.
Okay.
4.5 circles, more or less. I mean, you can either put 2 circles in the same, like 2 circles like this, or you can make like it overlapping a bit, whichever. But either ways, it's just like, you follow that. You follow?
With the curve.
Yeah, you follow those curves, and that'll help you guide you. Later on, you'll have to kind of adjust the stem a bit. The spine, sorry, not the stem. Yeah.
Okay.
So initially, when you do it, you'll end up having it both equal on both sides, lah. The height, the upper story and the lower story will be more or less the same. But in actual fact, this tends to be a little bit more smaller, yeah. And it tends to lean back a little bit more. It's not exactly in the center. The upper story.
Okay.
Okay, all right. What else?
This is my uppercase.
Yeah. So same issues, gaps.
Okay.
What is this based on? Yeah. Actually, what are you trying to solve here?
It's creating a font for a game.
For a game.
Yeah.
What game is that?
Monument Valley 2.
Okay. Not that I know. Okay, but I'll Google it. So it'll be replacing the title or something, or what?
Yeah.
Title. What's the original title? Can I have a look at it?
Yeah. So can you see? Yeah, this one is the original title.
Right. Okay, it's a bit thicker than yours. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it looks like something similar. Okay, so try and see. When you do add a texture alongside the letter forms, you need to try and make sure it's very minimal, but it's visible, right?
Okay.
Minimal but visible, gives you a little body and texture there, so it should look better, I think. Do one letter and show it to me.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
How about the numbers? Is it okay?
Except for the 2, I think all else seems. Can I see the O? I mean, not the 0. I know what the 0 looks like, but I want to see the O.
Oh, the O. The O is like this.
Capital O.
Capital O is like this.
Okay, yeah, fine. Go back to number. Okay. Mhm. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. So I think it's just the 2 lah.
Yeah, I think here is a bit too big already. The
2 and it's not. I think it's also this weird bump that you have there, like that. So it's just using a circle and then trying to kind of maneuver it there. It doesn't really work for. So this is where you have to probably like add a bit of a adjust it a little.
okay.
Just like you have your 7, a little bit more like that, but maybe that's what's needed. I don't know. You to explore it a little bit.
Okay.
Okay. Start thinking about your applications. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Exploring that by the next class. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, sir.
Yep. Have we done cams? Good question. Did we do? I don't think so. Let's do it now. Okay. Let me just share the passcode in the Zoom chat. Everyone, cams attendance. The passcode's in the chat. Thanks, Alana, for reminding. Next person.
Can you see my screen?
Again.
This is the digitalized one. I managed to import the fonts that I did on Procreate. So thankfully it didn't take that much time.
Good, great. So you are on track lah. Yeah. So now you can begin the process of putting in font lab and kerning it. I don't think your kerning is going to take that long because it's fairly consistent in terms of the shapes, right? So
Yeah.
you should be done in a day, I think, or less. The only thing that you need to determine is how much space you want to leave between the in the left and right side bearings, right? So when you are doing the kerning, right, it's the left and right side, right? You remember?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you have to just adjust those so that. Let me think. Yeah, hang on. It's the right bearing, I think, that you adjust, if I remember correctly. Yeah, initially left and right, it's in the middle. Yeah, okay. Anyways. So sorry, I'm just thinking in my head. Yeah, hang on. I need to launch my font lab. Let me check my font lab. One moment. Okay, time. Let me try another one. in the middle. Yeah, left and right lah. Sorry, I was just checking my own files just to check on what I've. So serve chat content disappeared due to Wi-Fi problem. Could you please resend the code? Okay. There you go. Right. So back to you. So I think for you, your kerning is going to be fairly quick lah. Yeah. And once you get that done, hey, hang on, yeah. Is it me, or does the lowercase look thicker than the uppercase, or is it just optical?
It might look that way because I had to use Figma to combine together, so the image might look a bit enlarged. But if not, they are the same.
Okay, great. Right. So the alias punctuation, it's X height, is it?
This one?
No, the at. Yeah, the at at gmail.com, that at
Right?
this one.
Yeah.
So it's the X height, is it?
Sorry, could you repeat that?
Is it the size of an X height?
Yes. Yeah.
I think under
But I have
normal
to double check, I think, later.
yeah, because I think under normal circumstances is a bit higher, right? Also, the space between the A, right, needs to be wider lah, because it's almost negligible, right? So at least if you look at your counter space here for your 9 and all that, you want to have the same width space there as well lah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. Other than that, same thing with your hashtag as well. Hashtag is usually as big as your cap height lah.
Okay.
So let me see if I missed out anything else. Nope. Yeah, I think that's about it. Should be, I think, right? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so start thinking about your applications and get your font lab thing done by tomorrow. I think you should be able to do it. And once you're done, start thinking about applications and start exploring how you intend to do that lah.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Right. Okay, Emmeline. So in your previous attempt, can you show me what you did last week?
Yes.
Excuse me. I'm not seeing it.
Yes, I'm looking for it.
Oh, okay.
This was from last week.
Yes, okay. And what did I say? What did I tell you last week?
Actually, you told me to maybe thicken some part, but also if I could use a more structured like from a letter form to do my typeface, which is like I do it like less freehand kind of thing.
Right. So the thick part was the thin strokes lah, to make the thinner strokes thicker, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. That F is going to cause you lots of problems later. Okay, sorry. Now let's look at the one that you've created presently. It didn't change. Am I looking at the same thing?
Yeah, I change it because I thought maybe this
No,
one
no,
would be.
I think when you're clicking and showing both, you're not showing me, actually, you're not showing me, you're stuck on one screen. So maybe you have to share your desktop as opposed to,
Oh, okay. Wait.
because I just want to see whether it's improved or not, right? So,
Okay.
excuse me, why the hell am I coughing today? That strange. Right. Damn. Yeah. I mean, that's like a improvement. Okay. So the one on the right is the older one. The one on the left is the newer one.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So there is improvement. So that's a good sign. Do you miss anything from the early one? Do you find it better, or this is which?
I think it's better and it's gonna be easier for me. I mean, it's easier for me as well
Okay.
when I have to like,
How is it easier for you?
in terms of when I have had to like do it on Illustrator, like it's more structured, I would say.
So okay. So from this distance, right? I think we can
Yes.
automatically see problem areas for the uppercase in terms of the X and Y. And so those two don't seem to be consistent in terms of thickness.
Okay.
The letter U probably requires thickness on the other stroke as well, isn't it? No, but it's not consistent with the rest then. Okay, so just leave that the way it is. The O needs to be thicker as well on either side. So generally what happens is when you're doing curved letter forms, right? Because the thickness is not consistent from top to bottom, right? So as a result, what happens is it's only as thick as all the other letters, only in the midsection. In the section here, you get what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. So by right, what should be done is this section here, or this entire thing should be thicker, even though this midsection here would be thicker than the usual stem strokes that are there.
Yes.
Yeah. So this will appear optically like as if it is the same thickness
Okay.
as a result. Yeah. So I think that's probably important to do. This really looks a weird solution. The R there. But okay, quite a complex letter form, yeah, because I think there's a lot of moving parts here that's just difficult to command and control. Letter G looks a little weird. The wrong side, actually. The G should be, if I'm not mistaken, it should be this side, isn't it?
No, this is Q.
This is a Q. God damn, looks like a G. Okay, out.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. The letter F is also problematic. A, B, C, D, E, F. Yeah, the F is going to cause problems lah. Yeah, if you put that next to an L, it's going to have an issue.
Okay.
Yeah, also here, at smaller size, you can see where all the problems are for the lowercase punctuations as well. So I think in your case, there's still some refining to do in the crafting of your letter. There's also consistency work to do because there is a lot of inconsistencies in the lowercase letter forms in structure, but also in thickness, and then also in crafting. So you can't be doing all of this all at once. So first thing you want to do is just look at the structure, right? So you look at the structure for the lowercase and you fix the structure. That means places where there are excessive shapes, you need to want to drop it. Like for example, your letter M, these are all excessive, yeah, and will cause issues later on when for readability and all that. So these things can be dropped. You understand?
Yes.
Yeah, so you want to take them out. It's okay to have a little bit of fanciness in the uppercase, but not in a lowercase. Yeah, lowercase need to be a bit more utilitarian simply because they are most visible, right? In a sentence, you'll see more lowercases than uppercase, right? So if your lowercase is overly decorative, it just becomes unreadable.
Yes.
Understand? So yeah, so the first thing you look at now in the first phase is the structure to ensure that all these unwanted elements are taken off and the structure is the structure is sound and similar looking and won't interfere with the other letter forms. Then the next thing you need to look at is the consistency in thickness. Yeah, diagonal strokes, vertical strokes, rounded strokes, whether they're all similar in look and feel. When you're doing the structure, also take a look at the punctuations because the punctuations look bigger than the thickness of the lowercase. Yeah, so or rather larger, not more than that. And then after you've done that, looking at this the consistency, you then start, once all that is done, then you begin refining it a little bit more to ensure smoothness in the letter, to ensure the vector artwork does look, like it's that the shapes are smooth and rounded and so on and so forth. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
A lot of work still. So you need to really turn on the boosters.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so a lot better in the uppercase than it was before. I think it's looking a lot more similar in design. Again, I think the alias or the at symbol is smaller than it should be, thinner than it should be. Thinner sometimes that does happen in punctuation design, but the size I think is wrong. Yeah. The at sign.
Okay. I
Um,
think but I use like the existing typeface as a reference and
and
this size.
which size, which typeface are you using?
The default one,
Myriad.
yeah.
Type it out.
Oh,
This is not Myriad, ma.
it's funny.
I don't never heard of it. So I don't even know whether it's a good typeface. Use Myriad. Regular, normal. Yeah. Okay, so if you write the letter A next to it.
Oh yeah, it's smaller.
Yeah. So and it also goes below the lowercase the baseline, right? So that's something to notice as well, right? The circular element breaches the baseline and goes below, but it also goes above. And so it's somewhere, it's a strange, it's a strange character, right? It just goes below and above as well. Because sometimes the at symbol is used like in an email or in a what do you call it? Like when you're referencing somebody, and the person's name or the handle could be in uppercase or lowercase as well. So it needs to fit kind of both. Yeah. So generally tends to be a little bigger than the X height as a
Okay.
result. Okay, let's zoom out again. Looking at the lowercase symbol, lowercase characters, do you feel that the thickness is reflective?
I still feel like the thickness within the lowercase are still a bit inconsistent.
Yeah, because it does look like the uppercase does look a little bit more overwhelming
Yeah.
in terms of thickness when compared to the letter forms that you have there. And that might be due to the fact that your X height is really small, right? If your X size is small in height, then you need to maximize it in width.
Okay.
You understand? So right now you're
Yeah.
using an exact square or something, which is not particularly helpful in your design. The M needs to be actually wider. Yeah. So if you're going to have a small X height, then you want to have a wider X height, right? So that you can introduce the thickness a little bit more prominently,
Okay.
right? So that would generally help a little bit more in your letter forms.
All right.
So numbers, punctuations is these ones lah. So I think your punctuation is semicolon needs to be longer. Yeah. Please take a look at the Instagram link that I provided in the topic area for typeface design in the Facebook group.
Okay.
Let me see if I can find it. One moment. I'm just trying to find it. Yeah. I don't know whether you guys have been actually looking at this samples that I've provided anyways, but I suppose now it's too late. So we'll just have to stick. Wait, I'm just trying to find the why can't I find it? Here it is. Stupid me. Okay, anyways, let me share the link. Yeah, so I think anybody who's doing comma and all that, full stop, just might want to take a look at that link. Probably be helpful. Can you stop sharing for a bit? So just in case, everyone's sort of, if you want to know. So, if you click on the label, the topic label, type design in the Facebook group, you'll see a lot of different typefaces and helpful topics that you can look at. It's not just in terms of type design, but it's also in terms of application and how they present the application as well. So these are probably really good references. This is one of my, I really love this particular typeface design here. This one that you're seeing over here, it's just brilliant. There are a lot of brilliant ones here, right? This is a little bit more straightforward, but look at the treatment of the letters N and letter A with a low vernacular inspired typeface. So, some of you had earlier pitched, I want to do a Korean typeface looking like in Latin, etc., or Chinese typeface. You can see how some people approach it and how they've executed it. Opportunity to submit your work. Yeah. By the way, yeah, all of you who are doing this work right now, if you go to com arts, wait, let me see, where is it? communication arts here. Okay, click here. Communication art. And go to competition. Enter now info. So there's several categories, yeah. So typography has already ended in 23rd September, unfortunately, so we missed that. But there will be one for next. Hey, sorry, this is not yet. This is 2023. Oh no, but then this is for the submission deadline in 2022. How come it says 2023 here? This is strange. I was hoping to. Anyways, but keep an eye on this particular competition because they'll open up for 2023 and they will have a different submission deadline, which should show 2023 as opposed to 2022. And then there is also one more. Wait, that one is DNAD. DNAD. What am I doing? You know what? Wait, I'll upload that particular link, the DNAD PDF file. And while you're there, also you can click on this one because you can, if you find that you want to submit your work for consideration, you can inform me. I'll try to get the school to pay for the entry fee. Yeah, if the work is good enough, and I will get them to pay for it. Yeah. So, anyways, just some good guides. How to design typeface, stencil typefaces if you're interested, 3-dimensional typefaces. Interesting video here, I suppose. I can't remember what it was about. Braille. This is a script-based typeface, but a different take on it. Really interesting. Good if you're a really good reference if you're designing one. This is our former student. His work. This is exquisite, yeah. I've never seen the Tamil typeface used in Latin, but this is a really interesting solution. Excellent R, yeah. This one here, really interesting typeface as well. Here you can see some really exquisite ones with ink traps. They look real cool. This is Ed Fella's work. He's a really famous guy, Ed Fella. His work is very characteristic. Okay, I'm done here. I'll just stop sharing. All right, who's next?
Hi.
Hello.
Okay, I've got my uppercase and my lowercase, and that's it so far.
Okay, I think you are mostly done, right? So I think you just need to start doing your font lab.
And my numbers and symbols, yeah.
Yeah. And so once you're done with that and you start beginning your font lab, have you used it before?
No.
Okay, so you need to watch. Have I given you the link to typography? The typography.
Yes.
I have, right? Okay,
Yes.
so make sure you watch that so that you have a little bit of a primer on it.
Okay.
And at 11 o'clock, this is for everybody. Yeah, at 11 o'clock, I have called Hammam. He's the final year student who's working on a typeface as well, and his knowledge on font lab is fairly good now. In fact, quite good. So he will be coming in just for a short while to give a slight demo, or give you all some tips, and you guys can actually ask him questions as well if you are already currently kind of tweaking a little bit, Font Lab. If you're doing that, this would be great. But in any case, you can watch what he's doing and find out certain pointers that he might have to share with you regarding your typeface. Yeah.
Okay.
Anything else, madam?
No.
Okay. One last look at it. Hang on. Okay. So one thing you will find out immediately from him is you can actually in Font Lab you can ask him this. How do you create the shadow typeface? Right. So Font Lab will allow you to actually automatically create a shadow. Yeah. So for example, these outlines that you have over here, if you want it, if you let's say you save one typeface where you don't have this outline, it will actually convert your vector solid, the solid part of your thingy into an outline and create where you have the outline there a shadow.
Okay.
When he comes, you ask him lah. He'll show you. So for example, if you have a straight stroke like this, what am I doing? Hang on. Let's say you have this, and then you want to have like a shadow. Like right now, what you're doing is you have this, right? Kind of like something like this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's say you don't have this, and you actually have it creates this first, like a outline like this, and then so let's assume that your letter I, and then it creates a shadow. It can automatically create a shadow where it just goes like this. Oh shit. Not a good. Yeah, I can't control it properly. But you get what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Ah!
It's okay. I understand.
Okay. Right. Anyway, so yeah, you can do that automatically in Font Lab. So yeah. Okay, make sure you ask him and get the punctuations and numbers done by today so that you can really move on to Font Lab ASAP. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Next person.
So can you see my screen?
Iron Maiden. Okay. Oh, Guns N' Roses, sorry.
Like I have a few different serif, like previous class I just told you.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
still experimenting. So this is the first attempt, and then this is the different serifs with both lowercase and uppercase I tried. I'm not sure which one to go to.
I think the bumps that you have on the side there, I mean, it's really not needed lah. These hang on, yeah. What? These things that you have here, I mean, really, they don't. Sorry, this part here, yeah, they don't really matter. Yeah, so I think you can take them off lah. I mean, it's not really needed. It doesn't do anything to the typeface, right? I know you might have them in some of your uppercase letter forms.
The end.
Yeah, that's fine. Up here is fine. Yeah, these are fine. Yeah, but what I'm saying is in between, the ones in between, I don't think there's a need for them.
Okay, like for example, this one no need, but the upper part still can remain.
Yeah, right. So if you look at your B and you look at your P, they don't look similar, right? So you need to make sure that they are consistent lah. Yeah. And if you're going to add them, just make sure they protrude a little bit more. Yeah. If you want them, like you look at your U, for example, or this side, whichever, I don't know. They're both different. So you have to make them consistent lah. Yeah. Yeah. If your E is sticking out that much, then your R has to stick out that much as well. Blah, 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 so on and so forth. Right. Big pie. Understand or not?
Yeah, but I'm not sure like to use this serif or to use this bumper thingy.
Okay, so at that, this is a personal choice, right? So I think you need to make the decision, not me. Yeah. So at this stage, I think you need to make that decision. You're more closer to the font than I am. And after you make that decision, I might comment. right?
Okay.
But I think it's now the ball is in your court like at this stage lah. Yeah. So you have done A's, B's, and C's and D's, E, F, G. How many more you have left? Looks like a lot there. Yeah, a lot more, right? Lowercase.
I just done here lowercase. Like
Uh.
because I still experiment which serif to go to, then I go for the other letters.
Yeah. So do you want your G to be this kind of a G, as opposed to a normal, like the simplistic G?
Oh yeah, but I thought this one is like a serif font. So serif font G is supposed to look like this.
Yeah, but yours is not the conventional serif font, right? I mean, it's like the heavy metal font, ma. You don't want to have a classical looking G, ma.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So you might want to reconsider that G. And what else? Anything else? Yeah. So I think just aim to complete your lowercase by today, lah. Yeah. And then after that, start working on your numbers and punctuations.
And for the letter A uppercase, because at first I do something like this one.
Yep.
But I was thinking like, is it better to do the straight one? So
I don't think so. I think the A that you have, which is diagonal in nature, might be better in terms of. But you know what? Right now, just keep it. You'll never know when you put them next to each other, right? Then you'll really come to know whether they work, which ones work better, right? In fact, actually, I think when the guy when Hammam appears today, you can actually what do you call it? Ask him how to create alternate letter forms. Yeah, because he's right now struggling with the same issue as well. So I don't know whether he has solved it, but ask him how to create alternates.
Okay.
Wait, hang on. Let me. Okay. Hang on, yeah. I was just trying to see whether I could find that document that I was looking for earlier. Here it is. Okay. I'm gonna upload this document in where should I? Oh, maybe I should just send it. Share. How do I share? Okay, accept. Okay, so for all of you designing typefaces, right? I want you all to also see whether what it is you're doing fits the brief. I've not read the brief myself, but I'm going to upload it here in the file section. Upload file. Download. So this is the DNAD award lah, yeah. Competition alert. Okay, I uploaded it already. You guys can have a look at it. It's in the file section. Okay, back to you. Right, madam. So any other questions you have for me? Yeah, you're muted.
I have a little questions for, because I did the lowercase sketch only, but I was thinking the X, because my typeface is like more, everything is like more focused on the upper part. So I was thinking the X, should I put the middle point here or the upper part?
Generally, it's higher. It's never in the middle. Yeah. Also, when you design an X, right, the X is not actually, not all of them, but they tend to be sometimes this is not aligned to this. You go study an X, right? Sometimes it's a little bit, the bottom stroke is a little higher than the top stroke, but it kind of looks like as if it is, but it's actually not. So one of the members is probably not in line. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah, you can study that and see. Yeah, but it's very negligible, but still they are not actually in line.
And
anything else?
For the W,
Yeah.
for the W, because my sketch do something is like all the
Yeah, yeah.
strokes are consistent like this.
Mhm.
But when I do it in Illustrator, it's like a bit weird because the stroke is quite thick. So if I put them together, it's like very too bold. So if I
Right.
put like the thinner, because I do have a reference for Bodoni, and
Yep.
Bodoni is like something like this one. So I was thinking,
Right.
is it if I use something like this, is it more? Can I use it like that? Because like different letters,
It's
they are all using.
correct. It's
Oh, it's correct.
correct, Jamie. It's correct. That's exactly. So I'm glad that you realized that it looked funny, right?
Oh,
Most
okay.
students would just end up going on doing it, right? But that it's exactly what you're supposed to do, and you did exactly what you should do, right? Because it would have looked really funny if you continue to maintain the same thickness. And I'm glad that you took reference and then learned as a result what should be done and did what you did, which is fine. Correct. Yeah. Even the A looks better here, actually. This A that you have here.
This
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. Okay. Only thing is the crossbar needs to be lower lah.
Oh, because I like following the
I know.
same.
I know. It doesn't work here lah.
Okay. If I without, is it okay?
Possible. It might be a solution.
Okay.
But not necessary. Okay. Thank you.
And I want to ask for the punctuation also at the same time during the sketch. And I was deciding like should I go for the curved one or like straight, like have the same character like the letters I made?
Probably the same, but it cannot be overly complicated. Also, look at the Instagram link that I provided earlier. And hopefully you will be able to what do you call it? Learn something from that, yeah. Okay.
Okay. And last thing for the U, I was thinking to go for the straight one or the more curvy one.
Again, it's personal preference. So I'm just gonna let you make the decision first before I step in. Yeah. Okay. So you make the decision.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
Next. So let's do the cam as well. I'll just send the code in as well. Yeah. So next one. Second attendance code, please key in your code in the key in the passcode in your. Who's going next?
Hello, sir.
Yep.
Yeah, these fonts are based off the board game called Arcs. Oh shit, wait. So based off this.
Right.
So the reason why I want to create this font is because the board game doesn't have its own font. So it's just the title. So I just want to recreate that and hopefully put in to the words.
Okay, so can I look at the board game again, the title? So it seems to have thick and thin strokes, but you have gone with a more utilitarian straight stroke, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go back to what you have. So nice touch with the A there and the H, the I and J too. So I think B, you need to rein in how much you use the the star element.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you use it too much, then it doesn't really come through well. Also, maybe you don't leave these kind of gaps over there, just make it like join in.
All right.
Yeah. So the J that you have is a little longish in nature. So this will cause you a little bit of problems like what you have over here right now. So you've kind of evenly placed it here, but in FontLab, you'll have to kern. So what happens is, let's say letters like G and J, right? When you put these two together,
Yeah.
you will have issues. J and P, J and Y. So the question that you need to ask yourself is, should the tail of this J, this bit here, be that long?
That long. Yeah.
Right? So you might want to chop it off a little. Yeah.
Okay.
Other than that, the K. So I think the point that is aligned here with the bottom there, it makes the leg of the K look a little longer than it should. So maybe you want to address, like take this upper stroke a little bit more outside so that it just preaches a little bit more, so that it looks kind of optically the same, as opposed to not looking optically the same right now. This serif that you have here, so these should look somewhat like this, the H. You know what I mean? Because if you're gonna have it in the I, then you're probably gonna have it in the N, the R, the M, or alternately you don't have it at all. You know what I mean? So you have it on the top of some of your letters, but then you have to decide. I think right now it's a bit indecisive. You need to know whether you want to have it, don't want to have it. If you want to have it, then you need to make sure that they look like the I.
Okay.
Yeah, for these letter forms over here. Yeah.
All right.
So now the question is whether you want to have only one side or both sides, right? So it's supposed to be both sides, right? Like your letter I. Yeah, when you do this. Yeah. When considering what you have for your uppercase letter forms. So this is a bit weird here, for example, right? Because your F and your E don't have it, but then some of the other letters have it. So I think with regard to your letters, the most pressing thing that you need to sort is the serif that you have created, right?
Yeah.
So you need to decide how it's going to appear. Is it going to appear as 1 or 2? If it's going to appear as 1, then, for example, for the letter H, sorry, for the letter H, it would appear on both the same sides. It won't appear like one pointing this way, another one pointing this way. You follow?
Yeah.
Right. So both will point in the same direction if it is 1. Okay. Now, if it is 1, can you have one side having a serif and another side not having a serif? It is possible in the case, like if you look at the R, or if you look like the T, it is possible, but can be weird in certain instances. Yeah, but it is possible. But the thing is, you need to make a decision. What type of serif you're going to have? Are you going to have one with 2 or one with 1? That's the first decision, right? So once you make that decision, then it's about deciding whether you want to have on both sides, that means top and bottom, or only on one side. So then once you've made that decision, then you can go on and make make it consistent for all the letter forms, up and lower. Yeah. Generally you won't have like this. You won't have it, in the punctuations. So again, this is the part where you might want to take like reference. I would suggest looking at Cooper Plate Gothic.
All right.
Yeah, Cooper Plate Gothic will give you a little bit more direction, because it does look like this a similar look and feel that you have as well. I mean, in the typeface. Yeah, careful with your curvatures over here, because they don't look right. Yeah, so whenever you're curving the letter forms, this part needs to be a little thinner. Yeah, slightly. The radius cannot be the same, like what I mean to say.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else I need to say? No. Anything else you want to ask?
No, not really. Thank
Okay,
you.
thanks. Who's next?
Hi, sir.
Hi.
So this one is my uppercase and lowercase and some punctuation.
Right. And what are you doing for?
For poster, like the headings for poster.
Okay. One moment, yeah. Poster for what, yeah?
Sorry?
Poster for what?
For like the magazine design, the headings. The poster headings, like graphic poster.
That doesn't seem to sound right. Did I ask you to post-rationalize your problem?
Oh, yeah.
You don't look like you have done a good job by post-rationalizing it, yeah? You need to really think. Yeah.
I thought like you last week said like my idea on poster is correct already.
Is it? Can you show me the poster?
No, I haven't created the poster. But
No, I
like,
mean, what did you show me then that I said it's okay? I want to see that.
okay, wait a this one is the thing that you say okay.
Idea, font design for poster, further exploration for potential idea. Yeah, no, I said okay to the design, but what poster is it? I mean, because the way you're rationalizing it is you want to design a font for use of poster in the use of posters, is it? So I think you need to be a bit more specific, lah, right? What poster are you referring to?
Okay.
Right.
Like a fashion poster or what poster, right?
Are you sure this is going to work for a fashion poster?
Maybe like food. Like life.
Yeah, I mean, so I don't want you to pick things randomly, right? I want you to think about it a little bit more. Look at the typeface that you have created and think about something it can solve. Very simple. It's not very difficult. You can do it in like 15, 20 minutes, right? You know, if you think through it carefully, because when you do justify the typeface that you're designing, you just need to, because everybody who evaluates your typeface, right? This goes to everybody. They're going to look at your typeface and they're going to wonder what is it being designed for, right? So when, like just now, when I ask you, okay, so what is this being designed for? And then you just say, oh, it's posters. That's going to cause you problems, right? Because posters, what posters? And what type of posters, which type of posters, who's going to need this typeface, You need to be specific, right? You can't just say, I just want to design it for posters, right? You follow what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. So you need to be a bit more detailed, right?
Okay.
Yeah, in terms of designs, in terms of the design of your typeface, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But you need to be able to answer the brief, which is basically what's the problem, what you're solving, what will the font solve, right? I mean, what is the font going to solve?
Okay.
Yeah, so think about that carefully. Don't just think about only, okay, I'm going to design my typeface is nice, but I don't have to worry about what it's solving. Get it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, let's go back. Okay, so letter forms. So it so again, you see, for me to evaluate this, I need to know what it is you're using it for. So when you just say poster blankly, it's very difficult for me to say comment.
Maybe like food and healthy lifestyle. I show you a post. Wait. I do using the typeface to create a poster, but not for typography.
Using a typeface to create a poster, but not for typography.
Like my other things.
Yeah, so I don't know what other things is, and I don't know what you are referring to. Anyway.
Basically, I use the typeface to do the illustration.
Okay.
So my meaning is like using the typeface to create a poster, like headings or like caption something.
Yeah, it's still too broad. Yeah, it's still too wide and still too broad. You can, for example, let's say if you are talking about illustrations, maybe there's a certain type of comic book or illustration comic book that you like or that you watch, and you think maybe this font would be great for that particular masthead, right? And maybe some of the narrations inside the comic book. And so not the actual dialogue, because this is too thick for actual dialogue, but it may be for, like sometimes when people are thinking in the comic, like not thinking, rather like when they are just having a background narration, they would use a different type of, do you understand what I'm saying or not?
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah. So maybe you be a bit more specific, you choose a type of comic book that has a particular type of illustration that's similar to what it is you're using here right now. And then you can use this particular typeface as the basis for that particular comic book. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you be a bit more specific like that, then it'll be a lot more easier to kind of like cross-reference and also evaluate. And for people to understand as well. Okay. Yes?
Yeah.
I only brought up comic book because you're showing me illustrations. That's why, if you want to do something else other than that, you can go ahead and do. I mean, but you just have to be specific.
Okay, I'll think about it later.
Yeah. Let me see if I can find one here. Like look at this particular. Okay, stop sharing. I'll just share this. Hang on, very quickly. You see this black manga comic book?
Yeah.
Blank manga. Sorry, blank manga comic book. I don't know. Or maybe it's just for you to create your own thingy. Is it? I don't know. But anyway, but it looks kind of stupid, isn't it? That the typo there doesn't seem to gel with the illustration, right? Yeah. So maybe you could solve something like that. Maybe that'll work. What's this one? Beastmaster. Doesn't look very beastie. Anyways, forget that. Dragon Ball, since it's a bit rounded. I don't know. No. What else is there? Yeah, this one looks stupid. Digital manga and anime. Horrible. Yeah, maybe you can design for a particular book. Comic strip. Typical. One Punch Man. Godzilla. Shiny Spidey. Naruto, Minecraft. Saturday PM. What is this rubbish? That's got its own thing. Right. Anyways, yeah, I think you get the point. You can find something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably use it for that. So it's not so far from the poster thingy. You can still use it like a poster. Yep. Anything else you want to share? Can you share again?
Okay. So basically, this one is my uppercase and lowercase.
Okay, and punctuations you've already started. Numbers you've not done yet. So try to complete it by today. Yeah.
Yeah. So I do trying in glyphs.
Sorry.
I
Oh, you
using
tried it in glyphs. Okay.
So-
Can you go back to the J, lowercase j, just now?
I think here.
Yeah, this part here, the tail, yeah, a bit too long. Yeah, I think you can just kind of end it a little bit more earlier.
Yeah, like I using glyph to adjust.
Yeah, okay, it's fine. You can.
I like adjust.
Yeah, I'm just saying that this section here might later on cause a lot of issues with your, let's say, if you type Q and J next to each other, or you type G and J next to each other. If you go to, have you added the J and G in there already?
No, but can add now.
You can add and see. Yeah. You can see already there's issues with your I and J, yeah? Because the G is like so, I mean the J is so so I think one of glyphs can simplify the number of anchor points, right?
Yeah, but
It changes the shape a bit.
yeah, I need to do it later.
So you just type the J and G together. Boom. Hey, why is the J floating up?
Because I just adjust my J just
Yeah.
now, so I haven't adjusted G. So maybe
It's not in the X height, is it? Oh. Yeah. Yeah, so cause that problem lah. Right? So that's why I think you need to probably cut off the J a little bit more earlier, yeah, as opposed to having it loop like that. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep, thanks. So just figure out what it is you are going to do for lah, yeah. Okay. Who's this? Len Hoi.
Hi,
Yes, Miss
Phil.
Hoi. Yes.
Yeah, so this is what I did.
Okay.
Oh,
And what are you doing it for, yeah?
For an album, song album.
Okay, same problem here. Some album, same album. What is that?
Song album, sorry.
Song album.
Yeah.
Which song? Don't know. Just
I
any
don't
song. Cannot be. Yeah, need to be specific.
Okay.
So song album, but it's a very informal looking typeface. Yeah, you need to formalize it a little bit more, right? Because right now it just looks like you wrote it down freehand.
This is still my sketch. I haven't digitalized it yet.
Great, good. So you can what this helps you do is it helps you understand where the thick strokes are, where the thin strokes are, right? But also writing it allows you to understand the tool better. And as a result, you will be able to kind of design according to that understanding. You follow?
Yeah.
So now the thing is, the challenge is to translate this into a more formalized design, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And I need you to decide on an album very quickly so that you have some understanding as to the mood and feel of the album that you intend to use this typeface for.
Okay.
You understand or not?
A bit.
If you design this font, for what purpose are you designing? For whom you're designing, right? If you're designing it for a particular band, what is that band's style? Right? What is that album's style? What is that album's mood? So whether there's a scripty looking typeface like this, will it work in that particular album's mood and feel and style? That's what I mean. Still blur.
Okay.
Understand or still blur?
Can elaborate a bit.
What part?
because I thought like we can just create a font,
Who said?
then
Did you read the brief?
yeah, I did.
Right. So I mean, it's clear in the brief what? You can design a font and work backwards, yes, but as long as you're working backwards is working towards something that is concrete, that you can reference, right? For example, if you decide to design a particular font and then you find the perfect application for it, that works, right? And the perfect application, and when you use the font in that application, it just sits right, it looks right, it works. Then you're answering the brief lah. If you just design the font, then you think, okay, maybe I should use it here or here, but you're not sure, and you just continue. Then you're designing. You're not designing based on a particular aim, isn't it?
Okay.
Right. So it is okay to. I mean, it is good that you have a direction now in terms of typeface design, but you also need to find the right place for it eventually, right? So that this can help you, because you're right now in the process of converting your sketch into a digitized design, and you will be able to make certain changes to it, obviously, when you're formalizing the straight strokes, the curved strokes, the diagonal strokes, etc., etc. And when you start to formalize it, you will start to see it starts to take a certain shape and form and style. You understand?
Yeah.
So, for example, maybe you think, oh, this will look very good on a heavy metal album. Great. Right? You can use it for that then. Or it might look very good for some classical album. Great. Right? So you determine this classical album will, be using this particular typeface because it fits.
Okay.
You understand?
So do I have to find one?
No, I will find for you. Then who else going to find for you? Of course lah.
Okay.
What lah?
Okay.
Why so blank? I also don't know. Okay, anyways,
But like, is the design okay?
I don't know, because this is your sketch, ma. From your sketch to your digitized version, it'll change, right? Hopefully it'll change, because right now it's very inconsistent, ma.
Yeah.
Yeah, because sometimes your straight strokes are straight, sometimes it's curved. So I mean, maybe there's two types of strokes, I don't know, but so you'll need to eventually decide, is it going to be thick straight, is it going to be thin and then thick? Maybe for some letters it might be thin and thick, but other letters it can be straight.
Okay.
Like, for example, if you look at the letter H here, you got one thick and then one thin like this, ma. Then you got another one like this also. So this is because you're just hand writing it, so it's inconsistent lah, right? So otherwise this should end up looking like this, ma. Right? So when you digitize it, when you begin the process of actually streamlining it, then it becomes very consistent. It has to become very consistent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For it to look similar, right? Then when you create this particular shape, let's say, for example, it'll automatically influence the letter P as well.
Yeah.
Follow. Yeah. So the same way in which you write or draw the letter P, that axis that you create ultimately will also be the axis for your letter G, your letter P, your letter A, your letter O, because it comes from your letter O. Understand?
You mean this one? Here?
This is for uppercase lah. Yeah. Whichever the starting point and the ending point, there can be some adjustments, obviously, but the axis, when I say the stress, the angle, your O is not straight O, it's not symmetrical, correct?
Yeah.
Right? It's slightly on an angle, isn't it? Slightly on an axis a bit. So similarly, when you draw these letter forms also, they all be similar in slightly in an axis, because your nib is in an axis. You follow? That means it doesn't mean that your W will now look slanted like this. No, it will still look straight because the nib is already in an axis. As long as you maintain that, that diagonal shape, that meaning that accent, right? That
as in
angle.
this one, is it? This one?
Yes, yes,
This
yes, yes,
one?
yes, 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 yes. As long as you maintain that, you should be fine, lah.
So I just want to know, like, from like my sketch, are they kind of maintained?
It's a sketch, so it won't be, right? It's just a sketch. It just helps you understand based on this diagonal shape that you have, this angle that you have, what will be your thick and stroke and what would be your thin stroke. You understand?
Okay.
Don't look like you understand. Okay, I'm gonna do something that I shouldn't do at this stage, but I'm just doing it because you seem so blurred. So I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna screen grab this and I'm gonna show you how this would, this is easy, right? But let's do the F as well as a result. Let me just take it out. Screen grab the F. Okay, based on the letter O, which is here. Okay, so stop sharing, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I was doing something else, but okay. Voila. I'm just gonna draw a straight line first. And here. No, okay. So this is cap. Sender is up here. And baseline is here. Okay. So I'm just gonna make it thick. 80. And then I'm gonna select a brush. Double click on this, change the angle to your angle, which you have. I'm just gonna make it sharper. Points probably need to be thinner, maybe 80. Oh, leaf stroke. Okay, so probably like that. This, I think it's close to what you have done there. Wait, let me just bring in the screen grabs. Kinda. Okay, so assuming that's the stroke for the, now let me do the circle stroke. Now here, I'm just gonna adjust this a little bit so that it's wider. I'm just doing this without calculating right now, but you should calculate. Click on this. Yeah, okay. Bring it within the shape. There you go. Okay. Right. So I got my shape. I got two shapes here already. I can start doing my letter D. I can even start doing my letter F. Okay, but so D first. That would be the easiest way to go about it, but it's not just that easy. Once you do this, then so first is just to create the structure. So right now, that's what I'll do. Okay, so I create the structure. Do for my letter F. How do I want my letter F to be? Something like that. I don't know. I'll just keep it there for now. Okay. And assuming I create all my structures, and this looks like a letter P, but anyways, if I try to cut this right now, it will cause a problem. Yeah. So you can actually go back and make it normal, uniform like this actually later on. But what I would probably end up doing is looking at it from the perspective of object, part. Oh, sorry, I didn't select. So the next stage, once I start to do this, would be to, you can see the small little bits here. These things need to be deleted, yeah? Shouldn't be there. Okay. And then I'll look at this. Might want to create a path for this. And probably select, 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 select. Problem there. Damn it. Okay, wait. So this is supposed to be an F, right? So just looking for that. Need to go down some more. There you go. Okay. So can cut this part, cut this part, cut this part, cut this part, just select this whole thing, delete, select my JJ. Okay, there you go. So now 1, 2, let me just select this part, bring it higher. Okay, whatever. Select both. Okay, so I have my F now, more or less. Well, the crossbar is missing. I'll add that later when I. Okay, I'll add it now. Okay, select my node. Doesn't look right. That looks better. Yeah, so I can see that the top section here is a bit too far out, the finial curve over the top. So that's something that I'll probably adjust later when in the refining process. For now, I'll probably just leave it as is and just continue to build my letter forms. And I will have to adjust this as well. So if I were to like probably go here, kind of just strokes, all right, whatever, look at it, yeah, it's fine. So at this stage, I'll probably select both, can combine. Yeah. And then look at this section here and say, oh, no, this is not right. It's not good. Whatever. Probably need to adjust that a little bit more. Select. Select. Ah, damn it. So sometimes if you see there's a lot of these anchor points here, you can actually use this smoothing tool, yeah, but it does change the shape a little bit. So you have to be careful how much you use it. Boom, like that. See, so you get a lesser number of anchor points. Smoothing tool. But you need to be careful. Sometimes it changes the orientation of the slightly better. Maybe slightly still not smooth here. Let's see. The method is with this. I need to bring it in a bit. Here. Zoom in, zoom out. All right, that's better, I think. Yeah, smoother. Like that. Do you get it? Do you understand?
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah. This is back to SEM 1. Right. But it's as simple as that. Okay.
Okay.
So formalizing it means introducing consistent structure into your letter forms, right? So when what you have right now is like there's no structure. There is just basic ideas of how you want the letter form to be designed. What you need to do is introduce structure and formalization in the letter form. So first phase is to do that. The second phase is what I was doing earlier just now, adjusting the contours of the shape to stylize them a little bit better and so on and so forth. That comes later, right? That later part that I did. The basic part is just to put them together first as letter forms. You understand?
Yes.
So first phase, second phase. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Got
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Figure out your application, yeah, and the reason for doing this.
All right.
Okay. Thanks.
you.
Next person. Right. What am I looking at? You're muted. Yeah, I can't hear anything.
Sorry, I was struggling to use Zoom. I only started doing my digitalizing the font.
Okay.
It looks bad, so I just wanted to ask for so I just have my sketch right now, and I'm just wondering if it looks consistent enough because I'm not sure
Okay, so
either.
for me to comment, right, you need to start from the beginning and tell me what's this being designed for. Then I
Being
can tell
designed
you.
for music video, like the example is this one.
Okay, so it will be used in a music video?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So you have right now created these upper and lowercase letters that I can see over there.
Yeah.
And this is what they look like when they're within when they're smaller. The same, the top section and the bottom section the same, right?
Oh yeah, it's the same. This is
Okay.
just the whole thing.
So it just looks all over the place presently, right? I mean, it's like, it seems like, but that could be part of the design as well. I mean, the waviness of those letter forms, like in the letter D, you can see that the uppercase D. Can you just go to this one?
D?
Yeah, not the small one, the big one. Yeah, you don't have to zoom in. There's one more on the top, right?
Oh.
Yeah, this one here. Can you zoom into that? Okay, stop there. So this is a pixelation, and it's essentially a sketch that you did on what, Photoshop or something?
Clip Studio Paint.
Okay, whatever it is, like some app that you drew on, right? So, and because of that, you got these shapes that you have, and it is a little bit bumpy, right? And in some cases, you have these stress points where, you know, sometimes when you have the brush there and then you kind of go down. And did you do this in one stroke, or did you create that?
I created that.
These things.
Yeah.
Ah, damn. Because there is issues with it, right? You know, you can see that how this is thick and this is thin, and then here this is not the same as this.
Oh yeah.
Right? That's because the angle of your stroke and the stress of your stroke is not the same. Right? And as a result, you have this weird inconsistency. I don't mind these inconsistencies, like, you know, the lack of smoothness. I think that adds character to the design. But the problem is the lack of consistency in the angle and in the thickness.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the thing that you need to work. Now it'll be a fairly easy fix, right? If you want to do it in this app, and if you are able to control, if you're able to control the thick and thin strokes and the angle and the stress and all that. And then after you do it and you export it, and then you can kind of like, you know, trace it out. That would be, I think, how you would end up eventually doing it, right? So eventually, how did you trace this out?
eventually I tried to like do it per stroke line like that, but it doesn't look, I don't know, I'm not satisfied with it.
I think it looks better than the sketch.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I kind of like it because it looks better. It's a little bit more straighter. So I kind of think it's cool. I like this diagonal thing, and then that. Maybe it needs to be rounder here. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like how this is kind of like rounded. So otherwise there are too many elements in the play here. So how, I mean, my issue right now is whether you wanna, whether there is a consistency in the angle or not, right? You know, so that's just the worry that I have right now. So you have this, but they look pretty universal in terms of the thickness, right? So you're creating this using pen tools, is it?
Yes.
So you saw how I did it with the brush tool, right? I mean,
Yeah.
so maybe you can use a similar approach. And the only problem, so what you need to do is initially create all the letter forms, right?
Yeah.
And after you create the letter forms, you can then select the brush stroke and it will automatically give you thick and thin areas based on the axis that you created. You follow?
Like the brush stroke, the brush tool?
Yeah. So first, when you're creating this, you're using pen stroke, the pen tool.
Yeah.
Right? This is just to create the structure. So you're creating the structure, you're creating your letter B, you're creating your letter lowercase b, etc., etc. You're just creating the letters using, and when you're creating that, you're just using the pen stroke, pen tool, and you're just trying to get the structure.
Yeah.
The shape, yeah, as per whatever you have in your sketch, right?
Yeah.
Right. And then once you've got the structure, you can then select those pen tools and select the brush stroke that you want and the angle that you want.
Yeah.
You follow?
Yeah.
So once you get the appropriate angle and you have the look and feel that you have, the question that needs to arise in your head is whether you want to have, like how you have over here, in your letter B, in your letter D, these undulating inconsistencies. Is that part of the design?
Okay.
I don't know. That was a question to you, lah. Is that going to be part of the design?
I'm not sure, because it is because the title that I got from is more of like a handwriting style, so it is like inconsistent, but I was worried if I applied that to my type form it would look
right. So I think the best way,
much.
right. So the best way to approach this would be to maintain consistency first. That means there is no inconsistency first. So that once you have done that and you got all the letters done and you're having a look at it, it looks kind of nice, great. Okay, it's all very consistent and very harmonious and so on and so forth. Then you want to think, you're thinking, oh, what if it looks inconsistent? So you select, a couple of letters and you try to create inconsistency in the shape. So how do you do that? It's very simple, actually, right? What you need to do is you need to create, so essentially you already know you have strokes that are in this diagonal shape, correct?
Yeah.
And then you have strokes that are curved like this, right? And then you have strokes that are like the letter O, whatever. So you just take the base shapes of these shapes and you create like, let me just, I know it's easier for me to show it to you.
Okay.
Stop sharing. So let's say this is the letter form, right? You've created, okay, whatever, blah, blah. And this is the base shape, right? Okay. And so I'm going to now take this base shape and create an outline stroke. And then probably add some weird shapes here and there. Maybe this is not particularly well done, but I'm just doing this chinchai lah.
Okay.
I'm just trying to make a point here. Okay, anyway. So assuming there's one more here. Hang on, sorry. Assuming you have something like this lah, yeah. Angle it. So sorry, I'm getting to the details of it. Well, damn it. Okay, anyways, it looks horrible, but okay. Let's assume this is what you want and this is what you have, and you have this like this. Okay, great. And you just put it there. And merge the damn thing like this.
Oh.
Right? Then you get that funny shape.
Oh, okay.
Right? Alternatively, you can just use this and put that there. Right? And merge the shape, and then you'll see, oh, okay, yeah, it looks fine, it looks better, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Follow.
Yeah.
Like that lah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you can have two versions. You can have one version where it's like, it's like straight, and another version where it's not. Right? And then you can make a decision.
Oh, okay.
Right? So you want the bumpy one or you want the straight one eventually.
Okay.
Right? Okay, lots to do. Yeah. Lots to do. You need to put boosters on. Get it done by
Yeah.
today. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Can I ask one more thing?
Yeah, sure.
For the lowercase o, is it okay if I keep it like that?
No.
Okay.
Have a variation. Have two options. Yeah,
Okay.
have one option like this. So, and then you have one option where it's just normal. So
All right.
you allow the people to choose. Yeah, you can have alternate O's. So
Okay.
the alternate O is this one, the weird looking
This one.
thingy that you have
Yeah,
here,
yeah.
right? And the normal O is the normal O lah. So when they want to type out an alternate O, they can go to the glyphs,
Okay, okay.
right? And they can choose that O. They can see alternates.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yep, sure. Next.
Hi, sir, can you see my screen?
Yes, again.
Yeah, so
Which
I'm-
horror movie is this for?
this is for an album cover by Eminem.
By M&M.
He's a rapper lah.
Oh, Eminem.
Eminem is.
That's the old guy, but okay. Not too young.
Yeah,
Meaning
so
to say I know of him lah. So okay, right. So your consistency in thickness is a problem. I think you can see that there are some parts that are thinner, some parts that are thicker. So you need to kind of like get that sorted out. There's a quick way of doing it. I suppose you can just create an outline around it and then eventually make it into a path and then kind of convert it into the path and back, you know what I mean? And
yeah,
then-
yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
just realized like the B and D here, in terms of consistency, these are off.
actually, I kind of like the thickness there as opposed to the thickness in the E and F, but I thought that was kind of like a little bit more stronger.
I see, okay.
Yeah. So if you want to make it thicker, you should try to get them as thick as your C and D. Yeah. The B, this part here is salah lah. Yeah. It needs the counter needs to be a little bit more bigger. Yeah. Here. Because this section here looks a bit too thick.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Alright.
So but yeah, if you can get the thickness of your like your C and A and whatnot into your F and E and all that would be better. Good. Show me the whole thing again.
Yeah.
So which Eminem album is this?
It's called Music to be Murdered by.
Show me.
Okay, hold on. Give me a sec. I'll stop my share for a while. I'll show.
Sure.
the whole vibe of the it's a bit like Halloween-ish.
Yep.
Yep. Give me a sec. Sorry, my lap is slow. Okay. So, yep. This one.
Right. You see, the letter forms are a bit more thicker here, right? So I mean, and the reason for that is so that there is some presence in it. Yeah, if it's too thin and you have a lot of counter space, it's not going to have impact, right?
True.
Yeah. Anyways, but so when you do your applications, you need to kind of have a separate picture of that, like the blood, the thing, and all that, so that you can do your own layout of it that works with your typeface. You follow?
Yep. Right.
Yeah. So maybe if you want the picture to be bigger, blood to be a little lesser, or so that your typeface is a little bit more bigger. I don't know, because at the end of the day, you have to try to create the posters and the cover, the album, Spotify cover, or whatever. Because nowadays nobody buys CDs or whatever crap anyway. So is it Spotify? Did they put it on Spotify now? Is it Spotify cover? How do you guys listen to music anyways now?
Yeah, you can say Spotify, YouTube, all this stuff.
Where do you listen to your music?
If you ask me, I use YouTube.
So it's YouTube covers lah. So there you go, right? So when you think about applications, you have to think about things like that.
All right.
Yeah. You also, apart from that, maybe you want to think of other types of merchandise. Like, for example, maybe he wants to sell, or they want to sell merchandise. You can think about like red T-shirts with the type written on it, music to be murdered, whatever, and then some crazy lyrics in the back of the shirt or something, composed in interesting way, shape, or form, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Let me go back to the design.
All right. Yeah.
Just give me a second. Yeah? Right. Okay, I'm back. So letter R, P, and all that inconsistent lah.
Yeah. Yeah, I need to work more on these two. So the Y looks small here. I don't know why.
Yeah, I mean. Hang on. Sorry, somebody just messaged me, the program director. Okay, so your Y, the apex, the vertex, yeah, probably has to be lower lah. And then of course it has to be thicker as well. So I think your issue is mostly all thickness lah, issues with thickness, isn't it? Even your S, right, tapering towards the tips. I think it shouldn't be tapered towards the tips. It should be like thicker.
Okay.
Yeah, it should be thicker, not thinner. It'll look funny otherwise. But you can have like, kind of whatever you have with your R and all that stuff, jaggedness thingy. But you need to thicken it up lah, yeah, in all your letter forms. Okay.
Yeah.
Generally your X, it's not in the middle, it's slightly higher. Everybody makes this mistake, but anyways, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, got it.
Okay. Anything else you want to ask or show?
I guess I can. Okay, one thing is, so given from the feedback, you think that most of the letters here, maybe the strokes can be thicker to sort of, be with these two.
Yep.
All right. I'll work on that.
Yeah. And you still have the lowercase to go, right?
Yeah, I still haven't finished the lowercase.
So you gotta again move real quick, real fast, yeah.
Yep.
So I mean the direction is fine. Already you've got something kind of scary going on there. So fine, you might, now it's later you can even actually test it out with the picture and blood, whatnot, and just put some of the letters there and see whether what the effects is, so that you can gauge how much thickness you want to add.
Okay.
Do you follow?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thanks.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Okay. This has become very rigid.
Hi, sir. Can you see my screen?
I can, and I can see what you've done as well. So very formal looking now.
Yeah,
What happened?
formal looking. Like the one on the left?
No, the one. Well, some parts of the one on the right looks formal.
I'm actually trying to change. It originally was on the right, but then I'm trying to implement elements from this image into the font.
Yeah, so that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at what you have here as your inspiration and what you have as a result, right? So currently this looks super informal and this looks super formal. Well, it's not super yet formal, but it's kind of formal. But I can see that you are trying to informalize it with some of the letters like your E and F and all that. So it's heading the right direction, I suppose, but that J doesn't look right.
Okay.
So now so how come you're starting with this and then ending up with this? I don't get that. Why are you starting with this?
Oh, that's just a guide for me later to put the elements in.
Huh. Interesting. Looks like you're working double.
I mean, it works because this is like the basic shapes, and I'm using pen to draw this out and then putting it inside to replace. So yeah.
How do you draw it out over using?
Like the reference image is this. I just use my pen tool and draw the outline. Then I probably get strokes like this.
Show me one. I want to see how you do this. Apalah, yo. Okay, show me.
Is it not good? No.
No, I mean you saw what I showed Len Hoi.
I don't remember.
You were not watching. Great. Okay, let me show you. Stop sharing.
Okay.
That is a long way. I mean, you're gonna take forever to complete that, and it'll be inconsistent as hell. Okay. So sorry. Let me just delete this rubbish. So you can see these letter forms here. These are all done by using the pen tool. Can you see?
Yeah.
Right. So what you have or what your inspiration is basically using a pen tool, right? I mean, meaning it's a tool that's being used to write or draw those sections. You follow?
Yeah.
Right. So once you create the shapes, the basic shapes, which is like not one, like letter L, letter O, then it becomes very easy, yeah, to create all the other shapes as well. At the risk of sounding, because you were not following, I'm just going to show very quickly what it entailed. Assuming this is your structure, your circle, okay, and the shape of your letter O, and the shape of your letter M or J, whatever it may be, okay. Wait. How was that again just now? I think it was it? I forget what your J looks like. I remember it. Anyways, doesn't matter. What am I doing now? Okay, I'll just do it this way. Okay, let me select all these and go to my brush to here. See? Hello?
Yeah.
Right? So that's how you do it. You just create a brush stroke in the direction and angle and sharpness that you want. And you can just draw it. I mean, you can just do this. So all you have to do is just create the structure first. And then you just have to click on that letter form. Sorry, on that brush thing. Wait, let me just do another one. P. Sorry. Escape. Whatever, and just select that. Like that, lah. So you don't have to go around drawing, don't know what you're doing there. I don't know. So if for example, if you want to do it freehand, you can also do that. Right, but I wouldn't suggest it. I would just, except for certain strokes, because you'd want to try to make it consistent in its stroke. So you need to make sure that everything is ramrod straight in some of the strokes. You get what I'm saying here?
Yeah. So my big is the consistency, right?
Sorry?
My problem right now is like the consistency.
The problem right now is the way you're approaching drawing, creating your letter forms. Right? You're doing double work as far as I can see, lah. Right? You are creating a letter form, then you're drawing over the letter form. Wait, can you share your screen again? Let me see whether I'm understanding this correctly. Okay, so you created this, right? These letter forms?
Which one? Yeah.
What I'm seeing here.
The very formal one was used with like rectangle. That's all I did. And the not so formal one was like, yeah, the one I drew out. But then once I drew like one of them, I just paste.
Okay, don't move the artboard around.
Okay.
Just keep it still. Now, let me ask again. These you created, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Then you created this after that, over these letters.
Yeah.
Okay. So why are you creating this?
That's to get the feel of, am I doing it right now?
Okay, so now I've showed you a better way.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so try that way and hopefully you won't have to waste so much time doing all this lah. Okay. Now just be careful about when you're creating your letter forms to make sure that there are parts that are not sticking out too much and all that. Yeah. Yeah. So if at all you are unsure, always look at a reference that is similar to the design's direction that you're going into. Understand?
Okay.
Okay, so quickly, without further ado, create your letter forms, your formal letter forms. These, like I said earlier, this presently looks a lot formaler than what you have here. Yeah. What was our discussion last week?
Last week was just to ensure the consistency of the slanting of the font, but I didn't go that direction.
Because these have an angle, a very radical angle, right?
Yeah.
And if you want to maintain that kind of radical angle, you can in these letter forms, but you just have to ignore this shit. So
okay.
You know what I mean? Because this is like diametrically opposite of what this is, right?
True. Yeah.
It's straight, it's very formal. So if you want to maintain an angle, you can. All you have to do is just create your letter forms in that angle. So you have your M, you might have your X, right? You might have your Y, you might have your O, etc., etc. You follow?
Yeah.
So once your task would be to first to create the structure. Upon creating the structure, you select your forms and you select the brushstroke angle, and automatically it'll apply. And once you have all the letter forms applied using the brushstroke, then you take it to the third phase, which is to tweak the shapes a little bit, right? The end strokes or whatever you want to tweak. You follow?
Okay.
There are 3 phases here. First, creating the structure. That means ignoring what is thick, what is thin. Just creating the shapes, right, in that angle. Second is to apply the thick and thin strokes by selecting the shape and selecting the brush. Third is to look at the various applications, the thick and thin stroke, the ending strokes, whether you want to introduce something slightly different there. Understand?
Yeah.
Yeah, if those of you who are not following what I'm showing here, yeah, and then later when it comes to your time, I will ask you to review the recording. Yeah, I'm not going to repeat myself, yeah, for the rest of you. Now, I want to show you just one last thing. So you stop sharing. So assuming you have your angle, yeah, let's say whatever this is, I'm just going to delete this again. So using the pen tool, determining an angle. Should I not? Maybe for the letter L. Right now, I'm just simply whacking it lah. Yeah, I'm not following the actual angle, but the angle might be different, or a little bit more drastic. Yeah. So this is the first stage, creating structure. Correct, madam?
Yep. Yeah.
So this is the first stage, creating the structure. Second stage, is to implement the brush, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now third stage. Hang on, just move all this away. Looking at what you have, maybe you're not happy with the end part of the stroke. You want to have something slightly rugged about it, the end parts of the stroke. So you say, okay, so then this is the part where you're refining shit, right? So you go here, you go to path, you go to like outline stroke, you create, the different strokes there into a path, join them, and now you have them as path, as shapes, right? And so at this stage, maybe you decide, okay, I want some roughness to my strokes. So let's assume that I want to have a rough edge to my stroke. And I'm going to create like some sort of roughness This is like a bit rubbishy, but anyway, I'm just kind of like trying to make it an example. Okay, so similar on both sides, assuming, because you got both sides as well. I'm just gonna keep this here for now. Sorry. Make another one. Rotate the bugger. Sorry. This joins. Okay, anyway. So now I have my shapes and I want it to be a bit rough. So I kind of like take it to these shapes here. Once I decide on my angle, I'm trying to mimic the angle that I have here. So yeah, it's about the right angle. Bring this up. Command C. I'll make a spare because I can use it later. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can, so this is the second, the third phase, right? Where you want to add like nuance things, or you want to add like, you know, certain refinements to the letter forms. You get it?
Yep.
That's how you go about doing it. Yeah, and you should finish it fairly soon. Okay, thank you. Bye. Next person.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, snake letter form. Who's this? Rico Matsuyama. Okay. Miss Rico, it looks fairly consistent to me. I don't see an issue with it except for the letter N, which I think is a little weird.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Maybe you want to rework the N, redesign the N. Other than that, I think you're okay. Lowercase letter F. Lowercase letter F, the cross stroke, yeah, that you have over here. The one on this side can be shorter. Yeah. You understand why? Can you zoom in? Right, so your cross stroke here needs to be shorter so that it doesn't conflict in any other letter forms that comes there. You get it? Yeah, you can afford to have a longer one here because of this finial, but not here. This one has to be shorter. Okay?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Okay, good. All right. So, right, zoom out. Are you happy with what you have? What do you plan to use this? What's this for actually?
Oh, I think poster.
Ayo. Madam, you need to decide lah. Yeah, you have to make sure that your you cannot just say poster. You need to know exactly what it is you are designing for. Yeah, I mean this has to have a problem so that your typeface is a solution. That problem needs to be believable. Yeah.
Okay, I will decide.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Next person. Darren.
Hi, sir.
Hi. Some inconsistencies, yeah.
Yep.
I think clearly in the letter G there are inconsistencies here. Where's the thickness in the stroke here? Also,
Okay.
it seems a little wider than it should be, right? This is the width that you have right now. The B also problematic. Yeah, suddenly the top section is thicker when only this side is supposed to be thick, this side is supposed to be thin.
Or
right? You can see it here. Right? So that's the thing that you need to follow.
Okay.
Yeah. These designs over here, these are angular designs, right?
Yep.
So considering that, you have, so this is your M and this is your W. Okay. I'm wondering whether the W that you have created over here, whether it needs this part here. Maybe it just needs something like this. So then these two strokes can come closer together and you just have like a bit of a thing there. Do you understand?
Is it like a reverse of the M?
No, I mean, you could reverse the M and make it a W, but if you want the angles, then you need to like just introduce that little bit there that you have. I'm talking about this.
Oh, the little part.
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, these don't work, yeah.
Okay.
Not really working. The Z obviously is out, the S is out. Letters that don't work. So this is a simple solution actually. You just have to have a square that is the same or whatever is the same thickness here for your R. K. Right, you need to take from, I think one side will be thicker, another side will be thin. Yeah, so some ways to go to complete this. All right, is it clear?
Yep.
Okay, thanks. Next.
All right, thank you.
I forget what to ask you, but what is it you're doing?
It's basically I'm completing a font for the a comic, so this one.
I see. Okay.
Yep.
See, now for all of you who have problems rationalizing why you're designing whatever, that's what I want to see. I want to see this, right? This is clear and precise, right? He's seen a comic, the font is based on that comic, and so he's developing a whole case. So that's clear. It's clear. Yeah. Objective is clear, problem is clear, solution is clear. Okay. Next person.
So can you see my screen?
Wait, again, hang on, yeah. Okay. Loudly run. A, capital A. Oh, the lowercase is problematic, yeah.
Yeah, the lowercase I haven't done yet. It is just a sketch.
Okay.
And this one I've started to, I mean, just for these letters.
Okay. So after taking out those horn-like things in the letter forms, do you feel that it's working better now?
Yeah, but I think I would prefer if I add the alternates as well.
Okay. Okay. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, that's fine. Comma and full. Sorry, the question mark is. Okay, so one of the things that you will learn very quickly, generally in these question marks, exclamation marks, and brackets and all that, you don't have to add a lot of the style of the letter forms in there.
Okay.
kind of like just have you know, like you don't have to do it like so aggressively. It can be basic punctuation, but with a little bit of hint of what it is you have in your letter form. You follow what I mean?
Okay.
Because otherwise it will cause a lot of difficulty trying to understand and read it and all that, right? The brackets are okay, I think, but it probably has to be a little longer. Yeah, it needs to go below the baseline slightly, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Slightly below the baseline. Right. Okay. So, I mean, as it stands, the upper cases are fine. Numbers are fine with the exception of 2, which looks a bit weird. 5 can afford to be a little bit more thicker or longer. I don't know, like how you have with the S here. Yeah. Just be careful, yeah, with your counter spaces in your lowercase letters that you're building over here. It might end up looking thicker as a result. So maybe when you're building your lowercase letters, you don't have to make it look exactly like what you see here in your uppercase letters, right? They can afford to be a little bit more aggressive and flamboyant, but for your lowercase letters, you have to try to keep it a little bit more subdued. You understand?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let me see. So like these parts might end up being a little bit more. Wonder why is this thick? This is correct. Shouldn't it be thinner? Kind of awkward there. I think if it's thick here and thick here, so then it should be thin here, isn't it? Shouldn't that be the case? Loud Eden?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, keep it simple. I mean, when I say simple, I mean in line with what it is you're doing, but it doesn't have to have too many, you know, things to it.
Okay.
Shapes or styles or whatever. Zoom in, let me see clearly. Zoom in.
Wait.
Stuck.
Hold on. No. Okay, so okay.
Okay. Does look interesting though, the letter P. I'm just wondering whether the orientation of the thick and thin strokes are similar to the uppercase. That's all. As long as it's similar and it has the same look, it should be fine. But these are the things that I think you need to be worried about when you start adding all these little parts to it, right? Whether the lowercase really requires that that bit or not. So you need to make certain decisions very quickly, so that, because if you have a lot of these things happening in your lowercase letters, it'll look like a really crazy looking font, yeah, when you start typing it out together. Because when you type a word or a sentence, that sentence has more lowercase letter forms than uppercase, right?
Yeah.
So if your lowercase letter forms are very complicated, it'll end up looking a little overly difficult to read, like kind of thing, right? So anyways, just kind of like refine it a little bit more. I mean, simplify it a little bit more, I think. So you might have to drop certain parts of it, not all, but yeah. I like what you've done with the B there. Like, you know, for example, the starting point here was great, but then you just kind of like curve it down here, you know, and that's fine. Yeah. Then now question is what you do with this section here. All right, my brain works a little differently, so I don't know. I would tend to follow the nib, but depends on the style that you have. Because this is different. This is different. Or is it the same? Not the same. Zoom out.
Okay.
Are you zooming out?
Oh, zoom out.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see in the original, the bloodline is based around a nib pen, right? I can see that to some degree. Are you doing a faithful reproduction of that, or a variation of that?
It's definitely a variation because the font they use, they could use all uppercase, and then yeah, I also tone down the curve as well.
Actually, yours looks more hyped up than that. Yeah, I mean the curve I can see here, but in your case, you have all these other bits that are added to it. You see, like all these other things that you've added there. So that makes it more hyped, right? Like than toned down. Okay. All right. So what's the plan?
Just finish the lowercase and then do some tweaking. Then I just dump it to Font Lab.
Okay. Okay. And the plans for application would be?
Have to explore on that.
You haven't thought of what you intend to, so you need to start thinking, right?
Yeah.
Because what is the purpose here in this to do?
This one is to design the entire font for the game.
And where would it be used in the game?
So in the future, maybe if they want to do some sequels of the game or something, they can use a font.
Right. Okay. All right. Where you just have to determine where those fonts will be used, because later on you'll have to simulate the use of it, right? In the applications and all that, how it looks. Right?
Yeah.
Is that in the direction that you're heading?
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Yep. Who's next? So we'll have to stop at 11 o'clock, yeah, because this guy will come in at 11. So
Hi, sir.
yep, hang on, yeah, hang on. Okay. Right. Okay. So what do you, whoa.
This is only my sketches
Uh-huh.
for uppercase and lowercase.
Uh-huh.
And I have digitalization for the uppercase. I've done it.
Okay, so this is like some kind of dyslexic font. Where is it, meaning when I say dyslexic, I don't mean for dyslexic people, I mean it's sort of like schizophrenic, right? Bipolar or something, because it has different characters all across. Yeah. So So I can see that you have these consistent looks in some of them, and then some of them. So you have like a few variations, right, of these.
Yeah.
And what was the objective here?
It means the purpose.
Yep.
Is for a poster like have playful style poster.
A what?
For a playful looks like a playful style on a poster.
Yeah, madam, that's not a good purpose. Yeah, meaning when I say that, what I'm trying to say is you need to be clear about what poster, which playfulness, meaning for whom, etc. That needs to be clear. Yeah, you can't just say it's a playful font for playful posters. What? Doesn't work like that. You have to be clear, yeah, in your direction, right? You need to solve a specific issue, right? So choose something that needs your font and say it is for this. Understand?
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, but okay, it's coming along, I suppose. What else is left?
I haven't done the lowercase one and the punctuation. So I plan to do it after this class.
Okay. I think you have to work on your numbers, right?
Yeah, also.
Yeah. Okay. So, and then what else?
And also application.
Yeah. So you can't figure out your application until you figure out your purpose. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. So what's happening here?
So I was like going to design the tattoos for this brand, this toy figure.
Okay.
And because this series is like a space themed one, so I kind of like make it one to like a bit of uh, uh kind of like calculators numbers,
Yeah.
numbers that you see in calculators. And
Yep.
also last time I proposed also like incorporating certain features into the text, but like this one is the this kind of pattern. So for
Yeah.
mine, I will do this like only the edges.
Yeah, but I think you can
And
afford to increase that a little bit more.
sorry?
I think you can afford to increase that white spaces. Yeah, the ink traps a little bit more.
Okay.
That means widen it lah.
For the white one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And for the lowercase, I haven't done it yet.
Yeah. Let me think. Yeah, let me look at it now. So this doesn't look, the K doesn't look right here. Yeah, so either it's flat this way or it's flat this way. You have to decide. You cannot have both.
Okay.
I would probably say the same thing for the C as well. But for the C, it seems okay. F, not really lah. F and E, yeah. The cross stroke here at the bottom should be shorter. These, not as. So these are wrong. These are need work again. So again, okay. So is this looks like a bit fudgy, yeah? It doesn't look sharp enough, yeah? It needs to be like, whatever this thing here you have on the corners. You need to make sure that it's sharper, clearer, or whatever. It looks like what we call fudging. Yeah, when you're not sure, you kind of like, kind of do something there that makes it like uncertain where it goes. You need to be clear, either it's a diagonal shape, or it's a it's a diagonal, two diagonals coming together, two diagonals on opposite directions that form a shape, like this is a lot clearer, right? So these are not clear at all. Yeah. Follow what I mean?
Yeah.
You need to fix those. A lot of them. Okay, until you fix those, you shouldn't look at these white parts, because they need to be worked out. Yeah, this one not solved. Yeah, your S.
Yeah, I know.
All right, so that's that. Anything else?
That's it.
Man, you need to work faster.
Yeah.
Yeah, only halfway, also not even halfway. Yeah, 1/4 way only so far. You still got 1 more quarter to go to complete. What, 3/4 or 1/4 or whatever. Anyways, 3/4 to go. Numbers, lowercase, punctuations, then think of applications. So many things to do. Okay, thanks, bye.
Thank you.
Finally, one consistent looking nice little typeface here, Mr. Halim.
Yes.
Okay, we're good here. No problems. Continue.
Yeah, this one is like the puzzle thing right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. And what's the purpose of it?
The purpose of it is like to making it actually, I kind of want to make it, like the application is something like a puzzle, something like
but
that is the purpose. So like to print it out and then for children to like construct it into something like whatever they want to actually. That is my purpose doing this one actually, because from here, like there's a gap between here. So children can like doing what in here actually. That is kind of the purpose of this actually.
Your purpose is a bit fudgy, yeah? If I use these shapes and I create another shape from it, is that what it is? How do I create, like say, okay, I take the letter A and I take the letter B and I slot the B in the A, right? And then I take the letter C and I slot the C into the B. And I take the letter D and try to slot it within somewhere, I don't know, whatever. And what am I supposed to be doing, slotting all these things together? What's the purpose of that? Here's the thing I can tell you, right? So instead of saying that, what you should be saying is like, okay, this is a typeface for a particular game where you can fit things together, like whatever this game is from. Right? So if you have this game, so you can say these letters are designed, inspired by this game, and the box of this game has like, I don't know, whatever. It has a packaging, whatnot, and you want to
something like that.
Yeah, and then you can create like promotional headlines for this game, etc., etc. You follow what I mean, right?
Yeah, that's kind of true.
But this looks like a really boring game, lah. I don't know which kid's gonna buy it anyways. But if you can find some other games, some other thing that you can use it for, that'll be great.
Maybe like puzzle kind of game. That one.
It doesn't have to be a puzzle; can be something else, lah. Could be some calculator or something. I don't know.
Because when I'm seeing this one, I'm also kind of reminding me of like, razor blade.
What is that?
I don't know.
What's a razor blade? Hello? Hello?
Yeah, I think my line connection.
Okay. So what's the razor blade?
Razor blade?
Razor blade. What is the razor blade? Oh, razor blade as in like shaving?
Yeah, I mean, do I share screen?
Whoever uses that?
I don't know. I mean, this is like, I'm thinking like almost the same, not based on this one actually. When I'm seeing it, only like something like this one,
Yeah, I get it. No, I mean, I can see that it is looking a little like a razor blade. That's fine. You could say that, but What would it? So it's inspired by a razor blade.
No, my inspiration is from this one, not razor
Yeah, I
blade.
get your inspiration.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, okay, so if you inspired by this, you created this, you now just have to figure out, is it going to be used for that also to sell this puzzle thingy, or to become the packaging masthead logo, whatever for that name of this thing is, whatever it is.
Then I'll find the purpose then. That is
You can
suit-
use this also lah if you want. Like,
Mhm.
that would be the easiest way to solve it.
Okay.
It just doesn't look like a fun game, that's all. Okay, bye.
Okay, then thank you.
Complete your punctuations, yeah, numbers as well.
Yes.
Numbers done or not?
Numbers, not all, and punctuation also not all, like the X
Okay.
only. That's this
Mm.
one.
Okay, okay, get it done. Next. Popeye.
Yeah, hi sir. So
Hi.
to recap, it's like my idea is for the magazine brand. I want to redesign the font to make it more graffiti kind of looking.
Okay.
So far, here's my progress.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hello.
I
Yeah.
made. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
So this one is like the stroke, and then this one I add the shadow.
Yep.
Yeah, and then this one I remain the into the kind of font. So I'm not sure which ones to go for.
Mm. Well, we'll start with that, right? With the filled in version. Because this shadow thing that you have over here can be done automatically in FontLab.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So you can ask Hammam how to do it when he's in here right now. He'll be in a short while. So I think just go with this for now. And then later you can ask him, if I want to create an outline, if I want to create a shadow, how do I do it, etc. You can show him your work and then let him advise.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Start thinking of let's say if you're doing it for the magazine, that's fine for the masthead, but the magazine can have merchandise as well, yeah?
Yeah. Okay.
You can show it on like what it looks on the site, what it looks on merchandise, how you can expand on it, etc., etc. Because all your typefaces, right, they supposed to come alive when you use it in the merchandise. So if you don't use it in your applications properly, then it'll just die. Anyone else? Who's this? Honoka. Hello? Can't hear you. Cannot hear you. Madam, cannot hear you. Your mic is not on. Yo. No sound.
Sorry, I talked about. Sorry, so I'm making the font for idol album for these singers. So I tried to combine traditional and make it more modern font.
Okay.
So my topic is ninja font. So last time I make the simple font use
Uh-huh.
from the Shuriken, and but it's too thin, so I made it bigger, but I feel like it's not consistent.
Right.
Yeah, so now this is yeah, the thing I want.
Okay, wait, hang on. What is this at the bottom here?
This one is just sorry, no, this one is not.
It's not yours?
Just difference.
Sorry, it's someone else's font.
Yes. So
Crap.
this is not what I meant. Just a difference.
I was about to say go for this.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, I was just looking at this and I was thinking, this is great. And then you tell me this is yours. I was like, ah, shit. Okay, whatever.
so should I use the below font?
Yeah, but this is
make
someone
it-
else's design. So, right?
Yeah,
This is
just
someone.
difference. So similar to the Shuriken form, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, because this is a font by itself, right? You didn't modify this, right?
Yes, not yet.
Yeah. No, I mean, meaning to say this is the font. This is a font by itself.
Yes.
What's the font's name?
About
Can you type out my name? VINOD, just type it out. Right. Okay. Yeah, I can. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm good now. Thanks. So
I don't know my direction. What should I do?
yeah, I think it's something you have to solve. Yeah, because you have your ninja element here.
Yeah.
And you can't be using this in all your letter forms because it will start to look really crazy looking and distracting. Yeah. I mean, this is what a good font looks like. Yeah. And you can see how the element sharp you yourself has recognized it, right? The use of the sharper elements here, creating that impression of sharpness, right? So that's what you need to be doing with your typeface, right? When you create your letter forms, you need to think about something where you can add this element of sharpness, right? So this would have been an ideal solution, right? This is the kind of solution that you should be heading towards, but unfortunately, this is not yours. So what you have here is not particularly a good solution. Understand, Honoka?
Yes.
Yeah. So you need to go back to the drawing board and draw this again. Yeah. So you start off with, let's assume the element that you're using is this, which you're inspired by. Let's assume, this shape that you have created.
Yeah.
Let me just stop sharing this first. This shape that you have created here, right? If that's the shape that you are inspired by,
Yeah.
right? Almost like a swastika.
Yeah.
Is that the shape? Yeah, this one here.
This is shape. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So let's just take this shape,
Yeah.
right? Forget all this other thing that you have here, right? Those are too decorative, too many elements. Yeah, because if you start using all these types of shapes to create a font, you would end up having something really Frankenstein looking like.
Yeah,
right?
this is so.
Yes, exactly what this
Yeah.
looks like, right? So what you want is you want to have some resemblance to or rather simplification. Yeah. So using this shape, let's assume you have this shape over here, right? And then you have like a straight flat shape with a little bit of a beak, coming out, stretching out over here. That would be a more acceptable letter form than what you have in all these other things, right? So how do I then utilize this shape for the letter B, let's say, for example? You can quite easily, right? You could just have the shape of the letter B like this, right? Just following the curve that you have here. You follow?
Oh, this one?
Yeah, for your B, for your C, for your D, because it's curved, right? You just follow this thickness. Jesus.
Okay. But do you think is this okay that it's like not curved?
No, no. Yeah.
No.
This is the shape that you need to focus on. Right? This shape influences all your letter forms, right? You can add an additional shape, like maybe a straight, a straight or a curved or an angular shape or whatever. But that's essentially it. If I had to construct my letter form influenced by this form, then how would that form look like, right? How would my D look like? How would my C look like?
I see.
You follow?
Yeah.
It's as simple as that, right?
Yeah.
So just figure it out, because right now the angle, the places that you're going with all these, it's just all over the place, right? And the reason it's all over the place is because the base forms that you're using is all over the place.
Yeah.
Right? It has no consistent shape. There are too many of them, right? Just focus on one. And that's it.
Okay.
Understand?
Yes.
Okay. Hello, Hammam. Thanks for coming in.
Hello, sir. Thank you for
Okay.
inviting me.
No problems. I haven't completed seeing. I guess you probably. Oh, let me also turn on my camera. I guess you probably saw the tail end of what I'm dealing with.
Yeah.
And you're probably remembering your time as well.
Yes.
Okay. Anyways, so you know what they're going through, so I think at this stage right now, a lot of them are completing their letter forms, and they're carrying forward their letter forms into Font Lab from Illustrator to Font Lab. So I think like there's one or two of them that are probably creating alternate letter forms for their letters. So they might want to know how that is done. And then there's one of them who's also creating like a shadow for her font. So she might want to know like how you create that. So I'll just leave it to you now to kind of like take them through Font Lab and maybe answer some of their questions they might have for you. Yeah.
So you want me to focus on alternate letters and shadow?
Some of them are doing that, but I think you can start from the basics of what you think they might need to know, and then introduce them to some of the other features. Yeah. And for all of you who are listening and watching, if you have any questions in between that you'd like Hammam to ask, maybe to clarify or something, you can ask him. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna hand it over to you now.
All right. So I'll be doing a quick demo, like a general demo. So first of all, I need you to tell me if you can see my screen.
Yes.
And is the drop menu showing?
Yes.
All right. Yeah, so this is Font Lab, and I'm assuming you did all your letter forms in Illustrator, right? So I think, Mr. Vinod, you told them how to import from Illustrator into Font Lab.
I have.
Yes. It's very straightforward, but you have to consider the 1,000 by 1,000 pixel canvas and everything.
Correct.
So your glyph becomes centered in the glyph window. Yeah, so first thing to do, I suggest, is to work on the side bearings of your letters. For example, let me open up this. So this is a font I'm working on. So for the side bearings, you have to, if you do it in a pro way, like in a cleaner way, you have to go and select the letters that have the same left shape. For example, we always start with the H, the I, E, and control and select D, P, L, F, for example, K. then open them in a new window, double click, and work and click on this icon, the side bearing, edit metrics. Yeah. So since they have the same left shape, like a straight line, in my case, in my design, I'm going to start with the letter H. And for the letter H, if you can see my mouse here, I set the side bearing for 45. So you tap equal 45, enter. Then for the right side bearing, since it has the same vertical shape, equals 45. So you can straight type 45 without equals sign, but I recommend you type equals. Then for the other letters, for example, the I has the same left shape and the right shape as the H. So we type equals H. This is very important. You have to start with the side bearings, because when you import from Illustrator, the letters, even if you did the 1000 by 1000 canvas and you did the ruler method and everything, sometimes you have inconsistent letter spacing. So for the right side bearing and the left side bearing for the I, I'm gonna just straight write equals H, right? For the left or right. For the E, equals H from the left only, right? Yeah, so also for the rounded letters, you have to select them, the O, the C, the Q, the G, right? The 0. So you have to select them and open them in a separate window and do the same thing. And you have to always rely on your eye when you do side bearings. See if this spacing is legible. Is the font legible? If you zoom out, is the spacing all right? It has to be consistent throughout all the letters. And not all the letters have the same side bearings, because letters have different shapes, right? For example, the E have a lot of empty space here on the right. The U doesn't have, like, it has 2 straight lines, right? So you have to pick the similar letters and do the same side bearings for those letter groups that you group, right? It's very, very important, because you're important from Illustrator in FontLab basically to do kerning. Kerning is very important for a functional font. If you want to type down your font and use it in your Illustrator, Photoshop, Word, anything, kerning is crucial. But metrics and side bearings comes before kerning, because it eases up the process of kerning. Yeah, so after that, I suggest you start working on the shapes, the shape itself of each letter. So for example, let's say you have A, B, C, D, right? C, D, E, F. All right, for example, this. All your letters you exported, right? By the way, if you copy the letter, the vector from Illustrator in the corresponding glyph, and you type with the type tool, you can type using your font from Illustrator. Yeah, so you have to work on the shapes. So probably when you export from Illustrator, let me make a new font. Drawing. For example, the H. Maybe in Illustrator, you drew the H like this, right? If you press spacebar, you can preview the true fill shape, right? So this is an H. It looks like an H, a normal, readable. It looks fine to me, right? But it consists of 3 shapes. So you have to unify the shapes. Even though when the shapes are not unified, it's readable, it's fine, you can export it as a font. But you have to unify them. Click in Control F10. Why? Because if you keep the shape like this, for example, this one, like this, yeah, and you zoom out, you can see sometimes the edge of this shape exceeding the stem of the edge because of computers have technology called anti-aliasing, right? So with anti-aliasing, you can see the overlaps when you zoom in. So before exporting your font or before adding variation, this is very important too, because when you add, for example, I'll show you later how to add variation using FontLab effects. If you add variation to the H, for example, with variation, and it's like this, consists of 3 shapes. Let's go and add a variation for it. So I hit Tool, Actions. Let's go to Adjust and Width. Probably you cannot see it, but when it is 3 shapes and you add variation, using the effect panel in FontLab, you can see the horizontal bar of the H exceeding the stems. So better to not keep it like that, and you select all, Control all, and then F10 Control, and then remove overlaps, or you select all and go to the contour tool, and where is it? Yeah, make overlap or remove overlap. Yeah, this is a very important thing. And also, if you have a rounder shape, like the O, for example, from Illustrator, let me draw an O. Okay. All right. Yeah, from Illustrator, if you import it, it won't look like this. Wait. It won't come as clean as the one I drew here. The anchor points won't look the same as the one I drew here. They won't be as clean as this. The handles won't have the same length, if you can see the handles. So you just straight away select the letter and then go to Contour, Simplify, and then select again, Contour, Clean Up. So it cleans up any additional nodes that Illustrator made. And by cleaning up nodes, you have a more smoother shape, a more smoother curves, because it's something like crucial in font design that you have smooth curves. And then you can harmonize, contour, harmonize, and you can contour balance, which will balance the nodes and handles. Okay, what else? Where is it? What else? So, for example, we want to add a variation here. Very bad. Oh. For adding variation, FontLab makes it easier, but it's only an AI, so it won't be perfect when adding variation. Let me do a demo on variation. So I select all, go to tools, actions. So in the actions menu, it's like a kind of a shortcut. So you don't do each letter manually. You don't do the metrics manually for each letter. You don't do the kerning for each letter. You don't remove overlaps manually from each letter. It makes it easier. So you can select all, and you can here go to selected or a specific window or all glyphs or visible layers or all masters. When you import a glyph set, like all the letters from Illustrator, it will be pasted on a master. Master meaning is an important layer, like the number one layer, the layer that has the important information for the font information, like the spacing, the kerning, the effects and everything. But within a master, you can add layers like in Photoshop. You can add layers and you can toggle the visible, non-visible. You can add letter variation. You can make some amendment to a letter in a separate layer to have a cleaner work. Yeah, so masters, you select masters and you hit run, right? For any effect here. So for example, let's make it adjust weight. So you can make it either thin or bold. And the letters, before you apply the effects, must be remove all the overlaps, like the shapes on top of each other, like we talked before. So you have to unify the shapes, right? So after unifying the shapes, you can slide here, use the slider, right? And you can pick the boldness you want and then hit run. Oh, all right, this is okay. As simple as that. But in my case, I did some variation for the font I'm working on. Because it's an AI and it can mess up your letters sometimes. So you, after applying maybe a bold effect to your letter set, you have to go and check one by one, the letters one by one, because it kind of makes the letters distorted sometimes. It adds a lot of notes, so you have to clean up and simplify as we did earlier, right? For each letter. And you can actually remove overlaps and simplify and clean up the notes via the action menu, which I don't recommend also. Because in my case, I tried to do it. Like you select all the letters, go to tools, actions, and basics. Oh, sorry, not basics. Contour, yeah. You can simplify here, you can clean up, harmonize, do everything. But when you select all and apply an effect, it messes up your letter form. The shape become kind of messed up. So I recommend doing it like manually one by one, because you only have like 26 letters or so. Yes, so you can check each letter and then simplify, control, simplify, and then repeat the process for each letter, right? Yeah, so you can also, in the tools actions menu, you can add effects. Let me actually add new effects. So I go to, if you want to add new master to your font from the existing master, you go to font info, you click the icon here, or file, font info, then go to masters, then click the main one, then click add, duplicate master copy glyph layers from the main master, which in my case, it's regular, right? So I'm making a new master and I'm naming it effect, and then hit OK. Okay, then apply. All right. Then you can click window, panel, and where is it? Layers and masters. You have to have this on. So now I have effect layer here on the right. So now I will unlock it. And you can see it's a replica of my regular layer, right? So on this layer, I go to font window. On this layer, I can apply a new effect. So for the effect, you have smooth, when you smoothen the edges, like adding kind of median or noise distortion to the edges of the letter. It's like fun thing to do, but I don't think anyone does apply these effects in a commercial or functional font at all. So you can blur the edges, you can add noise. I didn't try that before. Distort, and you can have a preview here in the preview panel. And you can enlarge the preview panel. See, you can have some fun with that. Outline, perspective, shadow, 3D, extrude, engrave. I don't recommend you doing engrave at all because it makes your computer lagging and FontLab crashing. Yeah, so for the drop shadow, I suggest you go with the 3D. I don't suggest it. I just like the 3D drop shadow because it is connected to the letters, as you can see here. But the shadow is not. It's a shadow. Yeah, and here you can play around with the angle. See? The angle of the shadow, the distance. And you can increase or decrease the thickness of the outline of the letter shape. But before adding the shadow, before adding any effect, you have to remove overlaps. Because, for example, the H, for example, if we have, if we still have the horizontal bar, the H bar has a separate shape, and we add a shadow, it will add a shadow to that shape also, right? So you have to unify all the shapes. Okay. And then hit run if you're happy with that. These effects make your software a bit laggy, yeah? So bear in mind. What else? What else? I think another important thing is kerning. Sir, do you want me to explain a bit about kerning?
Go ahead.
Okay. So kerning is the final stage of your font design, and it's a bit lengthy process. But these softwares like Glyphs app, FontLab, type design softwares make it a bit easier. Because if you try to kern letter forms, I mean kern the font, you have to you go to window. Let me just open this one. Okay, this is a kerning sheet I did. So you have to go to window, panels, and then classes. So a window opened here. Classes are like groups of letters, same with the side bearings, letters that have the similar shape on the right and the left, because kerning is kerning right and kerning left as the side bearings, similarly as the side bearing. But in the case of kerning, you can adjust the distance on the left and right of a letter with another letter. For example, the A and T. if you adjust the distance between the A and T and bring them very close, as they should be, the A won't be closer to any other letter except for the T, because you set the kerning for the A and the T to be closer. Yeah, so it's very laggy. So if you have consistent side bearings for all the letter forms from the same shape, side bearings, like you have completed the side bearing process and everything, you will see this. The T will be very far away from the A. See, because the side bearing for the T is here, and the side bearing for the A is here. And you can see here a very large white space, and the T has a larger white space under the bar, the top bar. So when the A and T meets, they will create a very huge and awkward white space. So we have to do kerning. See, so for kerning, we have, first of all, before starting kerning pages and phrases and text, you have to start kerning classes. So you open the window, panel, and classes, and then you can import classes, import from features, copy classes from an existing font. Maybe you want to copy classes from another layer, because you can see I have bold, oblique, regular layer. So you can import classes that you already worked on in another layer. But in this case, in your case, you're doing classes for the first time, so you have to generate kerning classes. So classes are generated now. So for example, if I click on the B class here, and it has a left arrow, which means kerning left. It contains H, I, E, P, D, B, all the letters that have the same shape on the left. In the case of your design, of course. Yeah, so you check the classes if they're right, because they are auto-generated, and maybe you have a different design that the B doesn't look like the H or something for some reason. So you have to check the classes first. And you go to your glyph windows here, and you can add classes. You add letters to these classes if you want, according to your design, I mean. So for example, the Q looks like the H. So I drag and drop it here, right? So after done with classes, you can start, open a new window, for example, this one, and then open a new pairs and phrases window. So you go to window, panels, pairs and phrases. These pairs and phrases are, they come with the software, but you can import or you can write your own phrases. For example, this typeface, I'm gonna write a lot of French words with it, like French text, because it's inspired by French history. So I imported French text because in some French words, some letter pairs and combination can be found, which they can't be found in English, right? So depending on the language, the usage, maybe you're gonna use a lot of symbols with letters, so you have to current those symbols with letters, right? Yeah, so here you have default texts and pairs. So for example, here I'm selecting text, as you can see here in this menu. You can select pairs, which is a pain to do. See, a lot of pairs. So it generates all the possible combination between letter classes. Not all the letters, because it will be like infinity, right? So you have to click them one by one. For example, TA, this is the most important one, TA, YA, and VA and everything. So you click this pair, and you can see it's highlighted here. You click TA pair, and you zoom in, and you adjust the kerning using the mouse. Oh, wow. Using the mouse, right? The kerning. So whenever the A meets the T on the right, it will stay at this same distance you set in the kerning process, right? What else? You can, I don't recommend using the mouse. Using the keyboard is better. So you shift and left arrow, you move by 10 units, or shift, or you don't press shift, and you just right arrow or left arrow, so you move by 1 unit. So you have more precision than using the mouse. I don't really use the mouse often. I like to keep my numbers rounded and consistent.
Do you use the metric window?
Yeah, in the
right. Yeah. So
I mean in the sidebearing process.
Yeah, I mean, because you can key in the numbers there, right?
Yeah, even in the kerning you can key in the numbers.
Yeah.
But in my process, I like to rely on my
eye.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah. Yeah, so you have to finish all the pairs, which they have the awkward spacing, and then go to maybe text and select text from here, and then do the kerning. Or you can use the type tool and copy text from somewhere, and sorry, I have only uppercase. So you just copy and work on the kerning. Something that I noticed here in FontLab, it doesn't come with default number, letter, or symbol with letter kerning. So I just copy paste it from a website. Like you just type in famous kerning phrases or pairs, and then when you're done with the kerning, I think you're pretty much done with your font, and you can export it. So to export it, yeah, and always click save, because FontLab sometimes tend to crash, as mentioned, when you work with effects. So you go to File, Export Font. Where is it? Export font as. So if you have variation, I recommend you use OpenType PS. If you want to export it as a FontLab working file, you can use the ones, the VFC or the VFJ. If you want to transport it, to import it to glyphs, you can export it as a glyphs file. Yeah, and then you can install it and run it on your PC, and then find more kerning mistakes and work again on it.
Okay. Anyone thus far have any questions for Hammam? Silence.
Hi, yes.
Okay.
Is your font lab cracked?
Yes, I corrected, but yeah, you can correct it. You can. For this assignment, you can. But I realized, sir, when I export, when I go to font info, yeah, go to creator, see, it already has a name. And you cannot change this name. I believe this correct version is like a stolen license or something, or yeah, some kind of
stuck.
Yes, it's some kind of a lifetime license for some dude whose name, I don't know what's his name, right? So when I type my name, cannot be keyed in. So when I export, I cannot sell the font, right? So when you think that way,
So don't
But
worry
it's-
about that, Hammam. What
Yeah,
you can
it's
do
fine.
is you can always open the file that you have created over here in the font lab at college at
Yeah, that's
university.
what I thought.
Yeah,
Yes,
and
yes.
then you can export the file there with whatever, you can key in all the necessary details that you want to, family name, font info, etc., all the license as well, the end user license ULA. And all that stuff you can key in and then export it from there. So right now, your cracked version can work for you for all the work that you need to do here. And then later on, when you take it to
Yes.
Font Lab in campus, because it's an original software there, you can just do that there.
Yes, yes, I agree.
Yeah.
That's what I thought also.
Anyone else? So unlike all of you right now, Hammam is actually creating his letters in Font Lab. Yeah, he's not creating it in Illustrator and then carrying it forward into Font Lab. Yeah, he's found it more convenient now that he's spent so much time on the software. He's able to actually do it in the software itself. The only reason you guys are learning it the way you are learning it is because that you're not burdened by having to learn in a very quick manner how to use Font Lab to actually construct letter forms. Yeah. But nevertheless, once you bring it into Font Lab, the processes that he mentioned earlier, simplification of the anchor points, although I suggest that you do that prior to bringing it in, then you would have less work. But you can also do it in an automatic fashion, as he showed you earlier, how you can reduce the anchor points or nodes in the letter forms that you have. The more the nodes, the more obviously more complicated it gets to actually adjust them. You can do, like a lot of you have, I already can see that you're already starting or trying or have been adjusting the letter forms in Font Lab already, because you can see the handles and you can see some issues with it at a larger size, which you probably didn't see earlier. And so sometimes the rendering of the letter form in Font Lab seems to be, it's a little different than how you would see it in Illustrator. Like Illustrator, you can sometimes you might zoom in or zoom out and somehow it doesn't display as accurately sometimes, or sometimes it could be the other way around, whichever. Sometimes I found that when I'm in Font Lab, I can't see the shapes clearly sometimes. So because I'm so used to seeing in Illustrator, I can absolutely zoom in to certain points or shapes and to see the structure there, and for some strange reason I'm unable to do it in Font Lab and whatever. But nevertheless, it's as you can see, the features are abundant and many of them are helpful. And while Hammam is here, you can actually ask him if you've already started dabbling in it. But if you've not, then, well, you'll wait until next week. And maybe if he's free, he might be able to drop by, or you can approach him. But he's busy also. He's got his own final project to complete. So make hay while the sun shines, which means ask him any questions you have further. Thinking about your own typeface, if you need any guidance, or if you want to show him some of your typefaces and get his point of view as well, you can do so. Yeah. Anyone? I think Hammam, you can stop sharing for the bit.
All right.
Let's see. Anyone wants to go? No. Okay, I guess they're all shy and not really making use of the opportunity. We'll just end it here. Hammam, thank you very much. Thank you for spending the time. I'll see you later.
Thank you. See you, sir.
Thanks a bunch. Thanks a lot. Okay, for everyone else, if there's nothing else, we will kind of conclude the session. Is there anyone else who wants to share anything else? No. Okay, thank you very much. And this is what I need you to do by the next class. If you want to stay according to the schedule, you should by this week complete your letter forms, and by next week's class you should begin the process. Not next week, by next week's class you should have some of the applications, attempting to try to use your font in some of the applications, and this will, yeah, sorry, Cams, thanks. And this will allow you to understand the weaknesses and strengths of your letter form. So whatever you have designed, you need to try and implement or apply it in the problem that you are trying to solve, and then see how whether it's solving it, and if it is not, then make the necessary tweaks for it, before actually finalizing it completely. Yeah, it's so with that, let me just get the cams out of the way as suggested. Okay. Let me see. Yes, Weng, Si Weng.
Sorry, sir. May I ask for like you say like we need to move backward on like thinking what the typeface is for. So basically, what I need to find is the poster that having similar characteristic with my typeface, right?
That's not what I'm saying to do.
Like a bit confusing on what should I do now. So maybe
Why are you designing this font? Because I've asked you to.
No,
right?
I'm like feeling the font is quite interesting, so I getting explore it for that.
So if you find it interesting, where do you see it being used? Specifically.
Oh, so like where do I find this?
Usable. Right?
Not
Where do you find this appropriate? Where, I mean, this font you're designing, where will it be best used? And for what specific purpose will it be best used?
Okay, so basically I found it like is best for poster, but you said like
Madam, like I said before, if you just say, okay, I say this font is best for posters. What poster? For whom?
Yeah, so basically like I'm finding a poster that like having the similarity towards my typeface.
It's not finding a poster, it's finding a brand or finding or what do you call it? Finding a product. Yeah, finding something that requires
share my screen.
Yeah.
So I found this one, billboard. So I think like a bit like I can use for it. Is it the main that
I mean, yeah, I mean, if you say that I think my font is going to be better than what I see for, Billboard is a very old magazine. It's been there for ages. The type style that you see there has been used for a long time as well, and it's become quite known. So if you feel that your font can replace that font, then yes, maybe it can, right? But you have to exercise judgment.
Okay, so basically if I use this one, I need to like having the characteristic and I need to refine again, right?
Why are you working like that? My God, woman, listen, you don't have to work backwards and frontwards and backwards and frontwards. You've already designed your font, ma.
Yeah, I'm like you confusing. What should I find? Like
you just need to find a possible application. Like for example, now if you let's say you say, okay, billboard's not nice, my font looks better, I'll use it on the billboard.
Okay, so not basically make the form with like roundish like.
No, madam. Like, oh my goodness. Look, you are not looking for a typeface that is similar to yours. What you're doing is you're trying to find a usage that can use your typeface. So it could be a movie.
So basically, if this one, the block type, like I feeling is very ugly, so I can like using my form to be like this, right?
Yes.
Is it right? Like on the right track?
Yes.
Okay.
But don't tell me you're using it for this lah.
And like example, like I need to clear my mind.
Yeah, so correct, right? So you are looking for a problem that your font can solve. I don't know how many ways I can explain that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
So
basically, I need to find a product or like a movie, something like to solve.
product, problem, service, whatever it may be, it's the problem that your font can solve. That's it.
Okay.
Right? So that's all you need to do, and then after that you have to create the merchandise and create the.
So if I use this one, then the merchandise should be the block type, or like I can use other names.
So what is the merchandise that you're making?
If I use this one.
Yeah. What is this one? What is
this one is the movie. A movie.
Okay. So what merchandise would the movie have?
So if like total bag, so I should use my typeface to like type this word, right?
Yep. But if you're gonna just type that word and use it on all the merchandises, what creativity is there? Nothing, right? So obviously there are things that you can do. For example, if it's a movie, if you're creating merchandise for it, maybe there's some famous sentences in the movie. Maybe there's some famous words that she uses in the movie. Maybe you're using the typeface as a means to promote the movie in advertisements or headlines on social media.
Okay, I get you mean. Okay, thank you.
Yep. Why? Is it that difficult to understand? I'm just like confused.
A bit confusing.
I'm confused that you're confused. Yeah. Anyways, it shouldn't be confusing at all. The brief is clear, right? You're just trying to find, if you're working backwards, then you have created a solution. You just need to find a problem. If you're working in the usual linear manner, you find a problem and you provide a solution. Fairly clear, actually. Anyways, maybe it's not. I don't know. Anyone else with questions before we end the session? No. Okay. Thank you very much. Goodbye. See you next week.